Chris, why are you laughing?
Because we just got good Friday energy in here. Roy burnt his hand, and I can't wait to hear how.
Fantastic.
But we should get to that later. Let's tease that. I feel like people will stick around for that.
You're laughing that Roy burnt his hand?
I appreciate that.
Well, no, I'm curious about that because Roy came in and was like, I burnt my hand. And when Roy says something, I'm like, I got to follow that.
No, but not really, because like you said, Roy burned his hand. I'm like, what happened? Like, save it for air. So like, you're not really following it. You don't actually care what happened to Roy's hand. You're just trying to fill time on this show with Roy's trauma.
Were you cooking, Roy?
Yes, sir. That's exactly what happened.
That wasn't my guess. I thought it was an iron.
You thought it was a curling iron. Like, with what?
Well,
Exactly. There's no camera.
It could have been a curling iron, a regular iron, any type of iron, golfing iron, whatever. They all
Golf
burn.
iron?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that.
Cast iron
possible.
skillet.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. I forgot that. Well, we'll save it for later.
No, go ahead. We're here now.
We're here now. Okay.
Get it as a little treat to the Shadow Show audience, as a reward for them tailgating before the show. Give them the most prized of possessions. Roy has come in, and from his mouth, content has spilled.
All right. So, yeah, I had some tri-tip steak that I seared and then put in the oven. And then I took it out, put it on the stove, put the steak on the cutting board, and then Anid came in and said something that probably annoyed me or something, and knocked me off my kilter. And then I forgot I didn't have the oven mitt on, and touched the handle, which just came out of the oven for about 30 minutes and on 425 and burnt my hand.
Blaming Anid is a move.
That's crazy.
Well, I had to in this situation. I wouldn't do it.
You definitely don't.
It's your
have
hand.
To.
Like
You're the one that grabbed it.
She didn't put it there. It was your hand.
Yeah, but now my mind is off of the fact that, hey, this pan was in the oven, piping hot.
I've done this move because with like a steak or a nice piece of red meat, you want to sear it, get that sear, but then you want to finish it in the oven. So I've done the move of putting it in there, but you got to remember, Roy. Like,
I got to remember. Yeah, unfortunately, I did not remember, and now I got blisters on my face.
This is a crazy lack of accountability. My wife probably said something that annoyed me.
No, it wasn't probably. She did say something that annoyed me.
It
wasn't probably.
What was it?
I don't remember. I got a burnt hand. It made me forget what she said.
I don't know.
Did you immediately blame her for it?
Yep, I did.
Okay. All of that sounds flawed.
How?
Well, you burnt yourself with your own adult hand and your own adult will and your own adult choices. You can react to your wife's annoyances however you wish to react. Many people don't react by immediately burning their hand.
The story delivered.
Sounds like a classic scene out of a 1970s sitcom.
A 70s sitcom.
Yeah, when you could just say, oh, my wife did this. I'm not at fault for anything.
Like, that would not be written into a show today.
No.
In the 80s, that would be a big thing to start an episode.
No, we're not blaming our wives for anything anymore. Or husbands.
Are you longing for that time? I'm confused here.
I'm not. Maybe Chris
Taking a
is.
turn
You
here.
wonder if Roy is longing for the early 1970s?
It happened on the Jeffersons or something.
Fantasy team from falling off the track. Football is back, Jack. Whether on the ground or through the air, when the chips are down and you throw a prayer, when your team is primed and on the hunt, it's 4th and 10, you refuse to punt. When the shoulder pads and helmets crack, that's how you know that football is back, Jack. Let me hear you say, football is back, Jack. This high is wild and out of control, and we're gonna ride it every week till we reach the Super Bowl. Don't need no check downs. Give me big hits and quarterbacks. If you say this game's the best, I'll say it's a gag. Football is back, Jack. Football is back, Jack. Football is back.
This is a legitimate punishment. I am uncomfortable. I am wearing leather in South Florida. It is tight and hot and steamy and already sweaty in places that I'd prefer to not sweat. I am Jesse Gemstone. If it's not clear from the mutton chops that I am sure over the next 3 hours will fall off. And these sunglasses, I can't really see anything. Never mind being able to read my notes or the headset isn't in the right place. I'm going to have difficulty doing today's show because of this outfit that is swampy in nature. And look how happy Jeremy is. You're happy because I am honoring the audience by doing a punishment that's supposed to feel like a punishment, unlike Billy doing the Ted Lasso and just throwing on a phony mustache.
That wasn't part of it. The mustache gained me an thank you. He even said it goes above and beyond. We reached out to UD, and UD said that I think I have immunity the next 2 weeks as a result of that.
That's not true.
Oh.
Yeah, you can't really make things up, and even though we're shorthanded and I can't actually see what it is
Theater of the
this
mind.
board says, no, but it's not the theater of the mind when you're just lying.
Well, I mean, there's been no evidence that UD actually is in negotiations with anything.
The evidence is the evidence is that I don't lie and I don't make things up, and so
me neither.
No, you were perpetually doing that. Did someone take my lying penalty out of here? I can't actually see what it is.
Saying there's no evidence that the UD thing is real.
But okay, there will be shortly because I'm negotiating.
When he comes, he'll tell you that I got
him.
a couple weeks off.
Let's see here. You know what? I don't have a lying one here anymore. So.
Did it ever exist? Who's to say?
Minor penalty, 2 minutes. Personal foul.
May have made that
Personal
up.
and foul.
You're going to have to leave for a second, even though we're shorthanded.
All right.
You're going to have to leave for 2 minutes because you're offensive. I want to talk about the baseball, and I also want to talk about the football. But the first thing that I want to do is celebrate that finally guest booker extraordinaire Chris Cody has tracked down a guest that we've been trying to get for, I'm going to say, 6 weeks. And do you want to give me any of the backstory here, Chris, before we show the video and who the guest who will be joining us in 20 minutes? How did you finally find him without giving too much away? I'd like the video to be the surprise on who the guest is, but how did it come to be?
I was made aware of this person and where he was, so I got a contact for, and I just had to kind of keep circling back. I didn't get a response the first couple times, and I finally heard back last week, and I was just like, this will slap next week, so join us.
Okay, I just pulled off my earphones that are a little sweaty, and it pulled off the mutton chop, so I'm going to need some help here shortly. But let's go ahead and play the video for the audience, and for the audio audience, just know this is the ump who got hit multiple times with wild pitches and foul balls in his foul balls, and so we will be talking to him in about 20 minutes. But go ahead and play that video.
It's the first one. All right, takes one, doesn't fall to the ground.
No, that time he just bent over. You heard the pain.
Number 2, still standing.
Yeah.
So impressive.
Crouched over, and here's the third one. And that's when he goes down. And on the third one, he, right behind home plate, lays in the fetal position. The coaches awkwardly walk over.
Stand over him.
So umpire Joe Rizzari will join us today to tell us about what happened here because it seemed painful.
Get for me just the 3 different groaning sounds that he makes so that I could play them for him and get his actual reaction to all 3 of the sounds. Play the entirety of the video again so people can enjoy. So the audio audience, which will not have the pleasure of these particular videos, and put it on the poll as well, Juju, at Le Batard Show. Is it always funny when someone else gets hit in the foul balls? But listen to how the escalating O's come gutturally from his nether regions.
That one, he's like, I can wear this. Number 2.
Stay alive, Ryan. Good job, bud.
The first 2 are Homer Simpson-ish.
Yeah, the third one he's just done.
I think it's important to note that this is definitely like 10 and under travel baseball. So this is not high school baseball. You might be thinking when you hear the ping off the bat and the velocity at which this is hitting this man in the nether regions. No. This is 10-year-old baseball for sure, and it makes it so much funnier.
The umpire's name is Joe, but when the coach said, "Way to stay alive, Brian," I thought he was talking to the ump. But on the third one, I don't have proof that the ump is alive because he does go into the fetal position, not unlike, as I said, Tony when he hurt his hip trying field goals. I meant to ask follow-up questions on Tony, who says that he's suing me and Meadowlark because I didn't ask him to do any of that. Like, I learned he was kicking field goals when he started kicking field goals. Like, I don't know how I'm responsible. Is this a Need's fault? Is this the fault of Roy's wife for annoying him that Tony hurt his hip? Because I didn't ask Tony to do any of that.
Yes, it is.
Okay, we will blame Need then. She is a receptacle for our blame.
I have the sound of the guy saying, "Way to stay alive, Brian."
Stay alive, Brian. Good job, bud.
I've got a lot of questions for this umpire, and I don't know how to tease something better than that. Like, I believe time spent listening. We're going to have a giant spike right now. Many times people tune in and they're like, Dan's there. Cody's there. I'm not interested. Or Stugotz isn't there. Or Zaz isn't there. I don't want to listen anymore. I don't want to watch anymore. But I believe this guest and a grilling of follow-up questions will make this guest someone that people stick around for.
And when he sees you, he's going to be like, "I like this show."
Yeah. The games yesterday, I do not blame the Padres at all for feeling like an umpire ruined their season, ended their season. The Cubs were in a position to Bartman. They were their pitcher, Keller, hit two batters after Xavier Bogart was given, just an end-of-season reaming by the umpire. That will not be a strike next year. They're changing Jeremy to robots next year, correct? Like
they're changing to the ABS system, so you'll have a couple of challenges, which to me is the perfect hybrid between the two. Like, if you have those two challenges and you get to continue to keep them when you're correct, that feels like the right way to go about it, to keep the humanity while still making up for moments like that.
Well, I want to talk for a second. The Cubs, historically, I know that Joe Madden and the Cubs erased this, but historically their fans have expected the worst and earned that expectation. In fact, I saw that Jake Arrieta and Ryan Dempster were the ones singing the seventh inning stretch yesterday. And it's because they wouldn't dare to invite Kerry Wood and Mark Pryor to do it because the Marlins ended those two people, and they associate those two people with "we were better than the Marlins," and the Marlins won the World Series. So they brought Arrieta and Dempster back to sing the seventh inning stretch. And in the ninth inning, they were prepared to cough that entire thing up. Merrill hits a home run. I told you yesterday, I've liked the Padres a lot for 3 years. And baseball's random. Baseball's weird. The Padres bullpen is championship worthy. It's the best bullpen in the sport. Yu Darvish has nothing left. Yu Darvish, it was sad to watch him go out there, get 3 outs, and they yanked him off the field as fast as possible. So Merrill hits a home run to make it 3-1. And Bogart, who he was great in the Bogarts, excuse me. He was great in the series. He's a professional hitter, and he worked the count to 3-2, and it was ball 4. It was obviously ball 4, and I think the umpire got swept away with, "I'm at Wrigley Field. This is exciting. I'm going to do something exciting here." That did not deserve to be a strike call. The Padres are mad afterward. Do we have any footage of the Padres? Were they like?
This was out of control to me. Yeah, the umpires are leaving the field, walking from the field to their room and going through the dugout, and the Padres players have to be held back.
Yeah, let's play the B-roll of that, because the Padres did feel like their season was ended by the umpires, and it was, because what happened right after that, if you watched everything that happened after that, the game would have gotten, first of all, 2 Tatis, and the way the rest of the inning played out, because there were 2 hit by pitches right after that, they would have tied the game. They would have been able to tie the game and be in a more threatening position if they had not been gifted that out. And so Manny Machado, let's play the sound of Manny Machado getting testy with reporters afterward. And I get it. I get why the Padres would be emotional and bothered by this. Let's listen to this.
I know it just ended, but how do you assess a season like this?
I mean, what type of question is that, dude? My guy. How do I assess the season? We just lost. How do you think I assess this? How do you think I assess it?
I don't know. That's what I was asking.
You tell me. What's a loss? We lost. How do you assess it? It's a loss. You lost. Come on, dude. I mean, you could ask better questions than that. Let's go. Come on. Thank you. Appreciate it. You know, wait till the last second to ask that question. Come on, bro.
It's a good question. Like, what's wrong with the
He
question?
looked happy too, if we're gonna be honest.
Oh, he's faking it. He looked happy
Oh.
the way Tyreek Hill looked happy as he came off the field, where we were all like, wait a minute, he shouldn't look that happy. Is he faking happy?
Did you see the video like someone took following Tyreek Hill's like ambulance? Like, or they? I think I weren't following him, but they were like next to him on the expressway as he's being driven to the hospital, and he's like FaceTiming someone. He's still smiling. Like he seems content with like that injury, I guess, or he was like at peace with it. I don't know.
Just
I'd
seems
be
like someone
crying.
who doesn't really know how to control like all of his emotions, either way, good or bad.
I don't know.
Can you get us that video? Because while you've seen that video, when you're talking about that video, that would be good video for all of us to see if you can get it to the video team, because we have assessed what we have said is a strange reaction from Tyreek Hill. But I do understand basically just about any reaction when you've just realized that your $36 million non-guaranteed next year went from I was going to get that $36 million to now I'm not guaranteed that $36 million. I think any reaction after that that doesn't harm people is going to be an acceptable reaction, even if it is curious, because I don't think that he could possibly be happy. But if I had to theorize why he was happy, it's because he doesn't have to play for these Dolphins anymore. Like if there's anything to be seen here, maybe he feels like, okay, I don't actually have to run over the middle anymore for a team that's going to be 4-13.
I don't know. It's gonna be a big week for the Dolphins against the Panthers. You see the big news?
The two offensive linemen that are out.
Chuba Hubbard's out too. So Rico Dowdle game, which is great for me because I picked him up a couple days ago in fantasy. But I mean, the Dolphins all of a sudden a sneaky 2-3 when a lot of people wrote them off, huh?
I don't know why you're assuming they're going to win a road game.
It's a feeling. I'm feeling good about this one. Dolphins a sneaky 2-3, and then, don't let this team get hot. Because if you look ahead after that, I mean, you may face the Ravens without Lamar Jackson. That's a couple weeks away, so who knows? The Chargers, obviously, that's going to be a test.
Chargers are also missing two key offensive linemen. I'll keep bringing it up, folks.
Well, that's 2 weeks from now. We don't know. We thought the Chargers were, a godly team, top tier, and then last week they kind of let us down. So keep an eye on the Chargers this week for a preview of what next week game is. And then there's the Browns. The Browns are a mess. You could be looking at a potentially 3-4 team here, maybe in a couple weeks.
Not going to do that with you. Refuse to do that with
the Falcons. We don't know.
All of those teams are looking at the Dolphins and saying we have an easy one coming up next against
Perfect
the
for a
Dolphins.
trap. That's how you trap them. Classic trap game against the Dolphins.
Let's watch Billy's video here. Thank you for sending it, Billy. Let's watch this video, and you can just see Tyreek Hill in the back of the ambulance, still smiling while on the FaceTime that he was on in the wheelchair. This feels slightly invasive. I regret doing this. I don't think that whoever chose to fill their socials with "I'm going to chase this ambulance down." I don't think that person should have done that.
Did you guys see the opposite angle? There was another angle of this same Tyreek video. It's definitely not AI. Definitely not AI, where he happens to fall out of the ambulance.
Oh no! Did that happen?
Okay.
I mean, it's a different angle. I'm not sure whether it
Drew
was
didn't
real or not.
mention
See,
it.
look. Oh no!
Whoa!
Tyreek!
Oh no!
Thank goodness for the wheels.
That is definitely
boy.
not artificial intelligence. That is obviously
It's a
something
nice
that
landing. He
happened.
landed nicely on.
Is it bad to love AI? I think I might love AI.
Put it on the poll, please, Juju, at Le Batard Show. Is it bad to love AI?
The leg's going up, man.
When you guys think, is his leg crooked? That's not right. Both of them. Oh, no. I regret doing all of that. I should have asked more questions before I followed Billy down a path. I should know better after all.
I did have that video of the guy falling on the ambulance. That was not me.
Okay, I just shouldn't have rewarded any of the behavior from anyone chasing down Tyreek Hill's ambulance. But when I think of surprising games this year in football, because you mentioned the Giants beating the Chargers, The Giants, I believe, in that game were less than a touchdown underdog. The biggest surprise point spread-wise, Jeremy, see if I've got this wrong, I think Cleveland winning at home as a 7-point dog against Green Bay was, until last night, the biggest surprise of the season. But what the 49ers are doing is really and truly unbelievable, because Kyle Shanahan's supposed to be bad in one-score games. Statistically, he is bad. He has Mac Jones starting last night, and it does make me wonder to see Mac Jones look like that after I see what he looks like in New England, what he looks like in Jacksonville. To see Mac Jones throw 49 passes and only 2 of them be truly inaccurate. To see Mac Jones walk into the stadium looking this way with his pregame outfit when he doesn't have, among others, he does not have his first wide receiver, his second wide receiver, his third wide receiver. He doesn't have his top tight end. He doesn't have his top defensive end. And obviously the 49ers don't have their top quarterback. To see Kyle Shanahan do that with Brock Purdy, to get to a Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo and have Mac Jones look that way. I know, Billy, that you and God Bless Football and in other places have been critical of Kyle Shanahan because he doesn't win those one-score games. But he seems to have an ability to make quarterbacks look better than they are, because the other thing that the 49ers are is 4-1 when they don't have an interception this year and they don't have a rushing touchdown. So they have not had a rushing touchdown, they have not had an interception, and they're 4-1. That last night was the most impressive victory I have seen a football team have this entire season, because it doesn't make any sense that they would win that game. That's Mac Jones's reaction when he was asked about an interception he threw, and then he said the defensive guy didn't have to do anything. I threw it right at him.
Did Bill Belichick ruin Mac Jones?
Did Mac Jones play for Urban Meyer? Who was the coach of Mac Jones in Jacksonville that made Mac Jones look that constipated? And it's still a bunch of underneath stuff, but he was accurate on everything. 2 of 49 passes were inaccurate last night, and that's
this
crazy.
Suit, though, like, I didn't know. When I saw this suit, I thought they were going to get their ass kicked, but then they win, so maybe he's doing something right here. Is that what kind of red is this?
Is it magenta or something?
What is that? So he's got a half red, half black jacket. He's got shoes with no socks on. It looks like it's a bit of a tuxedo bottom on the pants. The pants look a little bit high, too, do they not? With the stripe down the side,
I think
the red
that's
stripe.
the style. It's scarlet, I'm being told. Scarlet red.
Well, we're not qualified as a group to talk about anyone else's fashion, but this looks ridiculous.
I'm with you. Jeremy likes it.
I don't agree. I think he looks great. Yeah. Especially after the win. It does look better after you win a game like that. If he had gotten destroyed, it wouldn't have been good. Also, it was Doug Peterson, and it was last year that he was in Jacksonville. You guys realize that? That was last season?
Okay.
He wasn't honestly that bad. I'm looking at it.
It's crazy. He was better with Brian Thomas Jr. than Trevor Lawrence was, which continues to be the case.
I'm going to say this again because I want everyone to see what's happening in San Francisco. No wide receiver 1, no quarterback 1, no tight end 1, no wide receiver 2, no wide receiver 3, no defensive end 1. And I want to get into the decisions made at the last part of the game. We'll get into it with Dominique Foxworth. He's going to join us later. Michelle Beadle is going to join us as well. No comments, okay? Don't say anything to them about how I'm dressed. Let's just wait for a natural reaction to see what it is that they have to say. But you guys saw the way that game ended, okay? First of all, you didn't have to watch anything except for about the last 3 minutes of regulation and then overtime. Matthew Stafford makes it look very easy late in the game. Puka Nacua makes it look very easy late in the game. That throw to Atwell late by Matthew Stafford was crazy good. But the Rams got the game won, and then Zaslow hates the punching of the football, but the punching of the football on the goal line with Williams knocks the ball out, and they kept going to Williams, and they went to Williams late on 4th and 1, and they should. He's great, but he was not great at the end of the game. He lost that game, and at the end of the game on 4th and 1, I'm not used to coaches going for it there still after all this time. I don't think a lot of them would have. I think a lot of them would have taken the field goal in the tie game, even though the 49ers have had the Rams have had kicking issues. And so I want to ask Dominique about all that, because maybe the tide has indeed turned, and it is normal to trust your offense above all things. But Al Michaels was saying at the end of the game, this is why you pay McVay big bucks. This is why you trust your play call. This is why you trust your quarterback. And I'm looking and I'm like, what I trust is Fred Warner is awfully close to the line of scrimmage. And Fred Warner knows what it is that you're going to do. And Fred Warner is not a blockable human being. And so they get stopped on 4th and 1 to end the game. And it's the single biggest surprise I've seen in the sport this year. Do you guys have a nominee for me on anything that, because Cleveland winning against Green Bay, but Cleveland was at home. Like, that's Stafford, and we know that's a good Rams team. Like, all of us would say that is a good Rams team, that the 2 losses the Rams have this season, they could easily be unbeaten.
I don't know that the Falcons are very good, but they were 5.5-point favorites against Carolina, who beat them 30-0. That's Carolina winning anything 30-0.
No, but Carolina's an easy game. They're going to make the Dolphins 2-3 this weekend because Billy's totally unafraid of them.
Well, no, not just that. I mean, we mentioned the Browns real quick. They did, if you guys remember correctly, they made a quarterback switch. Dylan Gabriel's going to be taking over the helm. He's got a rough one this week against the Vikings. Who knows how that one's going to play out? I mean, it seemed like you probably lose that. Then you have the Steelers, a tough test. That's a rival of theirs. And then you may be coming into the following week against the Dolphins with questions again at the quarterback position. So, I mean, don't look too far ahead. Week 7 might be kind of a get-right game.
A potential matchup of left-handed Hawaiian quarterbacks
wow.
Tua and Dylan Gabriel, so a real rarity.
We have to stop right now, stop all things, because the great Joe Rizzari is now with us, and we've been trying to find him for a long time, and he has made himself available back in August as the home plate umpire. He was hitting the privates 3 times in one game. And I have a ton of questions. Joe, thank you for making the time. I am assuming that at this point you have shaken off all that pain, or has there been lingering effects?
No, we've shaken off all that pain.
All right, so let's go through these one at a time here. How many innings apart were these 3 horrible foul tips? Please watch this with us here. Actually, before you answer that question, just watch this with us, and at the end of this, just take me through your thoughts in general.
Okay. Ouch.
Hold on a second. We need the accompanying sound. All right, let's fix the sound here.
Stay alive, Ryan. Good job, bud.
Let's start it over. Let's start it over and play the whole thing for him again here from the very beginning so that he can see all of it and so that we can have the sound accompaniment.
Number 2.
Stay alive, Ryan. Good job, bud.
Joe, does that bring you back?
Oh, yeah, that brings me back.
So what happened? So when this happens, 3 in a row, 1 game, you're a grizzled vet in this game. I'm sure you've had it happen once in a game. You have it happen 3 times in 1 game. What happened to you afterwards?
I have not. What happened to me afterwards is I started to urinate blood, so I had to go to the hospital for an ultrasound to make sure everything was okay. The doctor said, just don't get hit there again.
I've got a ton of questions here. So how long have you been umpiring, Joe?
About 35 years.
How many times total before this game had that happened to you in 35 years?
Twice.
So in 35 years, you'd only been hit that way twice, and it happens 3 times in what game? So what was happening here? Was it the incompetence of the catcher?
No, it was not. Every one of those shots were foul balls on the inside part of the plate. And it's very unusual for that to happen because usually if there's a foul ball, you get hit on the opposite side. But these were inside pitches, and it was not the catcher's fault at all. I mean, the catcher had no time to react on these.
Do you wear a cup?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so, all right. So I assume the third of these is the one that hurt the most. Do I have that wrong?
No, that by the time I took the third one, Dan, it was horrible. I couldn't even breathe.
Did you continue, or did you stop umpiring and did they have to cancel the game?
No, I continued. I took about 10 minutes just to be able to catch my breath because of the discomfort, but I was able to continue. And as a matter of fact, my partner, he's got bad knees. That's why I was behind the plate. And even Sunday, the next day, I was right behind the plate again.
Wow. I mean,
Look at that guy.
Day later.
That's just excellent.
Hold on a second. You went to the hospital.
Superman.
You were peeing blood, and the next day you were back out on the diamond.
Oh yeah.
What are the rates? I used to get paid $15 a game to umpire. What does an umpire get paid to endure that?
If for that age level, you're getting paid $70 a game to do that. So it's not that bad, but it's great. It keeps you in shape and just keeps the weight off. That's why I do it. I enjoy it.
And what's the copay at the ER when you go? Like, how many games you have to do to make up for that?
It's probably more. The copay is more than what I got paid for the day.
So by the time that you're getting hit the second time, are you still stinging from the first time?
Oh yes, nauseous as all heck. Everybody, when they see the video, they assume that you're not wearing the cup, but even a cup doesn't give you that kind of protection. You still feel it. You still feel it. So I was nauseous by the time the second one came around. By the third one that came around, I was down and out.
How long did you stay down after the third one?
Oh, probably about 7 or 8 minutes. I just so nauseous, and I just had to catch my breath on that.
Did you notice the general callous indifference of coaches who wandered over and weren't paying any attention to the fallen umpire?
No, I was actually more concerned about what was going on with me. I couldn't pay attention. I got to tell you, all the coaches and they were all good. They were all concerned. Especially after the third one, and I'm laying there in a pile. So the coaches were pretty good. They came over, make sure that I was okay to continue.
After the third one, I imagine the strike zone is wide open, right? Like anything that's anywhere near close, we got to get out of here. Like, I got to get checked out here, kids.
Well, it's the flinching. You train yourself never to flinch. As a good umpire, you don't flinch, but that day after the third one, my feet were very happy, and I was flinching like all heck.
After the third one, did you just start placing your hands over your privates?
Yeah, and that's a mechanic that we're supposed to use. Anyway, you're supposed to do that. You're supposed to leave your fingers dangling. So the theory is if it hits, it's going to hit your fingers, not break the fingers, and then just deflect it a little bit. But yeah, the biggest trick was not to flinch.
So this is your fault then.
No, I would like to blame it on. I'd like to blame it on somebody.
The kids, the brat. Just the kids are brats. It's the kids' fault. You could say it. It was the kids' fault.
Nah, those kids were good. The skill level that these kids have playing elite baseball is incredible. It's incredible. They throw hard. As a matter of fact, I believe on 2 of those, there was a 9-year-old girl that was pitching, and she threw hard. I think she's the one that did the most damage.
Joe, parents, you hear a lot about parents like giving umpires crap. How often is that a problem with you? Have you had any wild stories?
Oh yes, I got one. That's why I initially, when my assigner called me about when he called me, I thought it was about because there was I did a rec game, and there was a fight. 2 mothers going at it, rolling on the grass, fighting. That happened this past year, and that's what I thought about the initial call was. But it's incredible. The 2 mothers were going at it. The kid, what started was a kid got hit on the hands. He was swinging, which is a dead ball strike. So I called it. Now the grandfather that was there was going crazy, wanted to fight me in the parking lot. And this guy I'm 66. This guy was at least 5 years older than I am. He wanted to fight, and then the mother came over and started yelling at another mother, and the coaches ended up forfeiting the game. Both of the coaches, they were great people. They said, no, wait, this is just too much, and then the mothers started going at it, and the police came down and took the two mothers away in cuffs. So that was my yeah, I know.
Did they not know the rules? Did you just keep telling them it's a dead ball? You can't swing. If you get hit, you swing. It's a strike.
Yeah, you tell them that. You try to explain it. I usually don't talk to parents and grandparents, unless it's an informative type of thing. Well, they want to know, and I'll do that. But yeah, it was just horrible. I just couldn't believe it. I mean, a guy that wants to fight me in the parking lot, two mothers just literally rolling on the grass till the cruisers got there. But this is the stuff that we put up with yearly.
No, it's $70 though, so you gotta it's worth it. You thought we were calling you though about that dead ball instead of your dead balls?
Yes, that's what I initially thought.
Dan.
The situation that you found yourself in happened in the first time in what inning?
The first time it happened, I think it happened in the first inning.
Second time?
Second time, I believe it was in the third inning, and then the third time, I believe it was on the fourth inning.
All right, so this is a bad stretch, and the games are 7 innings long, so you toughed it out after that. And what were you feeling the next 3 innings? What can you, beyond the flinching and beyond the fear and beyond the general throbbing or numbness, what are you feeling the next 3 innings?
Oh, just a complete nausea. I was as nauseous as all heck. I just couldn't, even though you're wearing a cup, you still feel it. So I was nauseous, and it was just hard. The hardest part was the focus, keeping your focus on the game. The temptation is to always just cross your legs on the next pitch, but you keep it. You just stay in there. You try to hang in there as best you can.
Joe, I like you. You seem like an old school, salt of the earth type of guy. Yeah. And I'm a little concerned, and I hope that you share my concern, but I don't want to lead you here. I don't know if you are familiar with this artificial intelligence, this AI that's out there. And, it's fine to ignore when it doesn't really affect you. But I don't know if you've caught on to this robot umpire situation that's going on now in minor league baseball, and they're trying to bring up to Major League Baseball. How do we feel about that? Because I feel like they're trying to come and take your jobs. And I like you, a classic guy. I like the human element of the game. So I'm worried about these robot umpires.
Yeah, I don't think that's ever going to fully replace umpires. Umpiring it's part of the game. Good calls, bad calls. They're still all part of the game. The reviews that they do now, I mean, the technology is pretty good, but you'll still need umpires. You'll still need to be able to have umpires out there, even though the technology, even this video of me getting hit, that's subject to the new technology that they have on the backstops now. So, but I think the technology is there. It's going to be there to help. I don't think it's going to be there to replace the umpires.
I mean, it's part of the game, I think, right? Imagine a robot getting hit in the twig and berries. Not nearly as funny. Now, obviously, it's only funny because you're okay, but, I mean, it'd be a disservice, I think, to it missing. Let me ask you something as an umpire. How's your hook? Do you have a quick hook? Do you have a long hook? Like, what's the word that a parent or a coach or a kid has to say that Joe says, you know what, buddy, now you've gone too far. You're out of here.
It depends. My hook, depending if it's a tournament and a tight game, believe me, like if it's a tournament, the coaches and the mothers.
S word. The S word, is that an automatic hook? The S word?
Yeah.
The F word, automatic hook?
Yeah. And
C word, automatic hook?
Oh, yeah.
All right, good.
Yeah. The other thing, too, is like a lot of times coaches will complain about the balls and stuff. mumble a little bit in a tight game, and you let that go in a tight game. Everyone's trying to get an edge.
I got an idea here, Joe. All right, you're going to be the umpire right now. I'm a parent, okay? So just tell me. I'm going to say something. You tell me what you do.
Yeah. Stop us when we get there.
Hey, Blue, get your head out of your ass, Blue.
No, too far. A-word.
That's gone, yeah.
Out of here. A-word. All right.
They're kids.
All right, Joe. Stop me when I hit the line. Darn it.
No, that's good.
Dang it.
That's still good.
Dang nabbit.
That's still good.
God damn it. Fuck you, ump.
That's not good.
Right.
What's your get out of here? Give us your get out of here. What's that?
What is the ejection? What does it look like?
Yeah, the ejection, you point at them, you turn away, put your hand out, you're out of here.
Gone.
They're
Just
gone.
subtle.
Chris, you want to give him your
Yes,
third strike
thank you,
call?
Dan. Thank you for this.
Let's see if we can get a grade from Joe
want
on
1 and 2? Just 3?
Go ahead and do the whole thing, but
All right.
let's get his assessment. We would like a grade from Joe on
Joe,
this.
I put 2 or 3 years in when I was in my teens. Here we go. Strike 1 and 2 are the same, so I'll give you just ha! So that's 1 and 2. That's 1 and 2, and then the big dog here. Ha!
That's good, Chris.
Thank
yeah,
you.
that's good.
That's good, he said. Nice.
A, B plus, A minus, B minus.
I'm going to give that a solid B plus.
All right, congratulations, Chris. We're going to play these for you here. You, based on just sound, tell us whether this was the first time you got hit in the balls, the second time you got hit in the balls, or the third time you got hit in the balls.
Okay. That last one was the third time.
No,
All right, here we go. I'm going to play it here. I'm going to play a little louder for you. Here it comes. Here it goes.
That was I think that was I believe the second time I got it.
Yes, that's good. He's got a good awareness here. Let's play another one for him. See if it's the first one or the third one.
That I if I'm not mistaken, that's the first one.
You're wrong, Joe. That's the third
Joe,
one.
that's the worst of them. I'm sorry to say that. Yeah, that's when you hit the ground. But you can be permitted. You were in a state of disorientation and nausea. So it's
And now guess what, Joe? You're out of here.
Yes, you're out of here. Good seeing you, Joe. Thank you for
Thank you,
being
Joe.
on with us. Real quick, before you go, did the umps steal the Padres season yesterday?
No, I don't think so. You can't blame it on I don't think you can. Well, you can try to blame it on the umps.
You're out of here. Get out of here.
Coming up today on the Aliyah Oop on DLS Hoops on YouTube, we discuss Timu, Tina Turner, as well as Caitlin Clark herself finally responds. Also, is there some barbecue chicken potentially in the finals, Trista?
Oh, I think Alyssa Thomas is going to be barbecue chickening Nalissa Smith and potentially Asia Wilson. And if Asia Wilson doesn't persist and win finals MVP, I'm going to need y'all to start a GoFundMe page like I got cancer.
The Aliyah Oop, Tuesdays on DLS Hoops on YouTube, and Fridays right here on the Le Batard Show, actual, factual feed. Salute.
Lock in.
Damn it, I should have said lock in.
After a blank space on the calendar, Formula One is back in Azerbaijan despite its reputation for tight corners and narrow roads. F1 is putting a sprint race in Baku. On Saturday, Charles Leclerc is fearless in pole position as the sprint begins. But at the start, London boy George Russell delivers some karma to Max Verstappen, making him a move to push him wide. Max is red, but George says, don't blame me. Number 22, Yuki Tsunoda, clips the wall and loses a tire after just 2 laps. At the restart, Sergio Perez has a lead with 5 laps left. It's time to go. Checo wins the sprint race, but Max and George have bad blood when the race ends. You guys see what I'm doing yet? Will there be vigilante shit on Sunday?
This
Max,
is amazing.
You need to calm down because it's lights out and away we go in Baku. Sparks fly, and Verstappen is driving like he's in a getaway car and pulls out into the lead. Long story short, Nick DeVries has a glitch and a safety car ensues. Perez is in the lead after a slew of pit stops, but he's not out of the woods yet. The one driver, Max Verstappen, has speed, but that's when Sergio Perez says, bye-bye, baby. As the race ends, Esteban Ocon goes into the pit, but the mastermind race organizers have let press onto the treacherous pit lane. This is why we can't have nice things. 7-time champion Lewis Hamilton finishes in 6th. The last great American dynasty, Haas, finishes out of the points, but today was a fairy tale for Sergio Perez. Verstappen finishes in 2nd, which is better than revenge. 1-2 for Red Bull is nothing new. They don't have champagne problems on the podium, but the anti-hero Max Verstappen is only ahead in the Drivers' Championship by 6 points. Fernando Alonso and Taylor Swift rumors are swirling. Long live Formula One. Max Verstappen has won the Drivers' Championship, but we still have 4 races to go. In Austin, Daniel Ricciardo rides a horse named Horsey McHorseface into the paddock. Zach Brown accuses Christian Horner of cheating, and Fort Lauderdale's own Logan Sargent will join Williams in 2023. During quali, Carlos Sainz takes the fastest lap while his teammate Charles Leclerc takes a grid penalty. Martin Brundle gets snubbed by Brad Pitt. Tim Apple doesn't know how to wave a flag. 440,000 people are at the Circuit of the Americas. It's lights out and away we go. On turn 1, Max Verstappen gets ahead of Carlos Sainz, and Sainz tries to recover, but gets hit by George Russell. The Spaniard is out of the race before the 1 lap is even over, and Russell takes a 5-second penalty. Valtteri Bottas' race ends early, and a safety car helps out Charles Leclerc for once. Fernando Alonso and Lance Stroll get in a massive collision, and debris is everywhere. Lewis Hamilton, on hard tires, leads the race with 10 laps to go, but the Flying Dutchman cannot be beat this year. It's Verstappen, Hamilton, and Leclerc. Sebastian Vettel battles to the finish in his final USGP. Baby Lando finishes 6th, and Yuki gets a point. Red Bull wins the Constructors' Championship for the first time in 10 years, a day after their founder's passing. People are crying, there's champagne flowing, fireworks are popping off. Everything is bigger in Texas, Dan, except for F1 drivers.
I guess it's time for the F1 minute here, even though I want to hear that sound
gave it
again.
away?
Je suis stressé pour les minutes de Formule 1. J'ai besoin d'énergie. Énergie.
Let's go, energy.
Oh, energy.
Bonjour et bienvenue à Circuit Paracas pour le Grand Prix de France. Les températures élevées sur le circuit signifient que la gestion des pneus va être essentielle. Charles Leclerc, le pilote automobile monégasque, fait passer à Max Verstappen pour la première place. Le pilote Ferrari doit gagner pour rester dans les championnats. Mais non! Quelle horreur! Une catastrophe! Sacré bleu! Charles Leclerc sort de la course! Encore de la malchance! Il est fini! Une honte! Max Verstappen prend une grosse avance. Lewis Hamilton, le pilote Mercedes, est 12e. Carlos Sainz, l'autre pilote Ferrari, a commencé à la 19e place. Tout sa pénalité pour le changement du moteur. Et les roues contre roues avec Sergio Perez, mais l'imbécile de chez Ferrari recommence. Max Verstappen a fini premier de la course. Carlos Sainz est le pilote toujours. Lando, l'enfant Norris, a terminé 7e. Lance Stroll a terminé avec un point. Félicitations, Mike Crack.
Huh?
Wow! Oh my God!
Holy shit! Holy shit!
Merci.
Oh my God! Was there an imbecile in there? Did you say
Les
imbecile?
imbéciles de chez Ferrari recommencent.
That sounded so exciting. I have no idea what happened.
Les pauvres Charles Leclerc, les pauvres.
My God, that was incredible.
That was
I
really
am
good.
so jealous that you can do that.
Christophe. Merci, Guillermo.
Well, the music ran out, but I think you should, because we didn't have an F1 minute today. I think you should give people Lord of the Rings minute. Yes, I think you should give people.
Spoiler alert or no spoiler
Dangerous
alert?
game, man.
Dangerous game because of what?
To us, you can spoil as much as you want. So I say go for as many spoilers as you like.
All right.
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show was presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Tony has built a nice little side hustle that involves MMA hangouts. He does live streams during some UFC events. I'd like to see him start doing some boxing, but he's going to be hanging out here tomorrow night. The Dead Flamingo. You can watch him live if you want to follow the UFC action. Those are a lot of fun. He has a lot of fun with them.
MMA Hangout presented by Boost Mobile, UFC 320. Main card fight, Ankalev versus Pereira.
Jeremy, Tony came after you yesterday and made the accusation accusing you of Botox, I think.
Yeah,
or
that's exactly what he
having work done
from Mr. Creatine himself.
Ooh.
Damn.
If anyone's artificially inflating the way that they look, I mean, it's certainly not me. I'm not lacking for confidence, and
Hold
just
on a
because
second. Hold
everybody around here has
Time
been
to throw away those
not reckless. He's talked about it himself.
credibility and get reckless. Here is something we like to call reckless speculation.
Yeah, he's talked about
You're
it, I
good.
believe.
Yeah. You know, I'm just saying, I don't need anything to affirm myself. I'm good in where I'm at, you know.
You don't
Let's not
sound
go
defensive.
crazy.
Yeah, you
I
don't
feel-
sound defensive.
I feel confident in where I'm at. You know, everybody's been publicly kind of praising the way I look, which I don't love the way that works with weight, but I'll take it. And look, I'm just going to say it. That hat was pulling my eyebrows back. I look crazy in that photo. But to accuse me of Botox, throwing stones from a glass house, my friend.
You don't want to go much further. You're good now. You're thin enough.
Yeah.
I felt like there was a little extra on Mr. Creatine. Like Mr.
Yeah, well,
Creatine,
I don't need enhancements. You know, I'm not here trying to change much. I'm just trying to be healthy, Dan.
I don't think that creatine counts as a natural supplement, but I do think creatine is viewed as not immoral. That it is not.
Tony would take steroids.
Yeah,
Let's
he
be
would.
honest.
He would.
Like, who do you? I think there's probably like 4 or 5 people here that would take steroids. I think.
Number one on the list.
Do you want to name them? Do you think there are 4 or 5 people who would take steroids?
Top 5 people in the office who would.
that would take steroids or HGH. You don't think?
Who do you think?
Mike would take steroids.
Mike Ryan or
Would
or
take
Fuentes?
steroids.
Fuentes might take steroids.
Fuentes strikes me as too lazy for steroids.
I could see Fuentes taking steroids.
All right.
I think that Tony would take steroids.
Mike Ryan for sure.
I think Jeremy would take steroids.
What about Dominique?
You do.
Dominique would not take steroids. He's a moral creature. He only accuses the Brian Flores Dolphins of being unethical. He does not. He has his dignity and his moral rectitude. Who do you believe, Dominique, would be our top 3 rankings on potential steroid users in the office here?
Well, I mean, I think definitely Tony's near the top. The idea of someone being too lazy to take steroids, wow. I mean, I thought the point of taking steroids was so you didn't have to work that hard, Fuentes. Like, what? Like, you're too lazy to cheat? That's a level of laziness that I didn't know existed. But yeah, I mean, I think Mike cares about his appearance, but I think Mike has a little more integrity than that to take steroids. I really think it's just Tony. Like, Tony's the only one.
I think high school baseball Chris would take steroids because other people were taking steroids, but then he wouldn't follow up with like the next cycle, so it wouldn't be super effective.
He would get those steroid boobs because he just did like 3 cycles and then didn't finish the job.
The steroids, man, like I think I was naive and thought no one was using PEDs while I played, and like anyone who was using it got caught. But then I got older and start to realize that they add new substances to the list almost every year. And that, like, for all leagues, they add new substances almost every year to the list. So I'm like, well, why do you need to add that? Probably because you found some of that somewhere. You're trying to keep it out the league going forward. And then the HGH testing is just too difficult to keep up with because you got to do like blood testing and all that stuff. So I don't know. I feel like I left some money on the table.
Yeah, do you look back and say, man, I should have done steroids. Everyone was doing it. Like, what was I thinking?
I mean, with HGH, it like increases, everything grows and like increases your chances of cancer and stuff like that. So I kind of don't really have any regrets, honestly. I wish that no one was doing it, but it was also like the thing was you could get an exemption for like certain amphetamines. So like people would have, who had ADHD would get an exemption, but it's essentially you on speed. So like you can get a prescription and then and that was for the NFL, so that you could use like Adderall or something like that. And there is some performance enhancing like nature to having that. Even if you're not including the physical part, it's like a mental focusing that could help you that a lot of guys would use back when I played. I don't know if they're still doing that, but it was a thing. You can't even get smelling salts anymore. You got to bring your own salts, they say.
So, like, not to make light of this situation, but, like, was there, like, a doctor that you guys knew you'd go to, and the doctor would be like, okay, Dominique, we have to, and you'd be like, what? And you just, like looking around the room and like, oh, well, Dominique, I guess he has ADD. Like, we got to give him something here.
I mean, I don't know. I didn't meet that doctor, but we had team doctors. But I guess to get a prescription, you'd have to go to an outside doctor. But the harder part, I think, was getting exemptions. I think the league wasn't just like giving exemptions to everybody. So to get an exemption, that was the more difficult part. But I imagine like of all the doctors that there are in the world and how football obsessed we are, you probably just had to go to a doctor and say, hey, doc, having a hard time concentrating. You want us to win this weekend, right?
Ricky Williams talks about doctors going down, or not doctors, but flight attendants going down on the team flight on the way home with just a tray filled with all sorts of pain pills on them. I would imagine that you found yourself surrounded by a resplendence of pain pills, no?
No, honestly, like I saw some crazy things on some team flights, but the tray of pain pills wasn't it. Like there was guys needed, like there is some need for that stuff. So I'm sure there were people abusing it. There people abuse everything in this world. But the doctors and the trainers knew the guys who needed the stuff, and then you would get it as you were going back to your seat because they would be like in the front of the plane. But it wasn't like, and it'd be like in a bag, it'd be discreet. It wasn't a big thing. People walking through the aisles with trays, I feel like some 1960s stuff where they were smoking cigarettes at halftime. That seems wild to me.
Wild things you've seen on the flights. Go on.
Oh, yeah, I'm not telling. Fights, stuff like that. All the rest of that stuff, nah. You're not getting that out of me. Well, I'll tell you in private. I'm not telling people on this broadcast. But, yeah, fights. We'll just leave it at that.
I'll call you later.
Dominique, earlier today, Roy revealed that he burned his hand, and then he went on to blame his wife for saying something that upset him and distracted him, and then he grabbed a hot pan without the glove on because, again, it was his wife's fault for saying something to him.
That's right.
Do we believe that it was Roy or his wife's fault for burning his hand?
Well, I mean, I think we all know that it's Roy's fault for burning his hands. I mean, I don't think Roy was blaming her. He was just explaining the circumstances for why he ended up being distracted, right?
No, he was blaming her.
He said it was her fault.
I was explaining how much of it that it was her fault. That's
I mean, it depends on what she said. Like, what did she say? Did she say something absurd? That is, I mean.
I don't remember because I burnt my hand, Dominique.
Okay, so it wasn't that big.
She's like, the Panthers are missing the playoffs.
Yeah. Well, in that case.
Barkov isn't that important.
It would have been both hands then.
Something truly blasphemous. I thought, Dominique, that the 49ers produced the single most impressive victory I've seen from any team this season. Tell me why I'm wrong. Give me another one that was more impressive than what the 49ers did without quarterback 1, wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3, defensive end 1, and tight end 1.
It was a very impressive win. I don't know that I could tell you one that was more impressive, but I think I could explain it in a way that makes it a little less impressive. So, like, we can go through all of the X's and O's things, but also football, because there are, like, so few possessions, the outcomes can be fickle. And when the Rams had 2 fumbles, a missed field goal, a drop pass that led to a missed field goal, a blocked extra point, the 49ers had a fumble that the refs decided wasn't a fumble on forward progress. Mac Jones threw an interception down the middle of the field that was dropped by one linebacker. Had he not caught it, it would have gone right into the back to a safety who was waiting for it. And like all these things happened in the game to make the results seem different. So I don't think the 49ers are better than the Rams today, which is, I know, an absurd thing to say because they're 4-1 and leading their division that the Rams are in. And I don't think that the 49ers played better than them overall last night. But all the pivotal kind of, it could go this way or could go that way type of plays that decide a game. When you fumble in the red zone, you have a pitch that bounces off a running back's face. All those things went in the 49ers direction. But, I mean, McCorkle still did. I mean, he played well. He had the two-face suit on. That's a big night for McCorkle.
There just haven't been that kind of surprise in the league. I know Cleveland beat Green Bay, but to be an 8.5-point dog, to be that injured, does Kyle Shanahan have some sort of secrets when it comes to helping quarterbacks be better? Because while you mentioned that Mac Jones did have some bad throws, it was by percentage. It was only 2 off-target throws, according to PFF, on 49 dropbacks.
Yeah, PFF is a great resource, but one day I want them to release like the play-by-play grading system because I've had some disagreements with them over the years where people that I thought had good games, they said had bad games, but that's a whole nother conversation. I think Mac Jones was really good last night, and the one bad throw that I'm talking about wasn't the problem. But it seems that what Kyle Shanahan is able to do is through formations and motions, he makes the things look more complicated to the defense than they are to the quarterback. And the Rams have like a marriage of things on their defense that don't match up really well. They have small corners who haven't performed very well and a really great defensive line. So, like, if you have a really good defensive line, you'd love to have big corners who are comfortable pressing, or good corners who have great lateral movement who can press to buy you an extra 1/10 of a second, 2/10 of a second for the pressure to get home. Because they were winning up front, but they were getting rid of the ball so quickly, and they were attacking the linebackers and the cornerbacks, which are kind of the weaker points of the Rams defense. So I think from a scheme standpoint, I'll give Kyle Shanahan a ton of credit because it never looks that hard for his quarterback. It never looks that confusing. The reads seem pretty obvious, and they attack horizontally, which I think creates like a higher percentage of success. If you're going like vertically down the field, it's harder to have success on those deeper passes. So they like stretch your defense horizontally, and they attack the weak parts of every defense that they play. But the things that they do from week to week, the pre-snap look might look different, but in the games, they're kind of doing the same things, and the quarterbacks and the receivers get comfortable with it.
If Shanahan had lost that game last night, it would be 19 times that his teams have blown double-digit leads. That's by a factor of like 10 more than any other coach in the league. What's happening, playoffs included, what's happening there?
I mean, I think he gets conservative. Like he's a conservative type of play caller. What I always kind of respected about Kyle Shanahan was he doesn't want to get the third down. It feels like the way he calls his plays is like, I don't want to get to third down. And that's great because when you're trailing, that's great because he's going to throw earlier. He's going to run more tricky plays and screens and stuff to kind of create explosives. But later in the games, like I see that again, but he's trying to run the ball and run the clock. And the defenses are not playing with the same level of aggressiveness. And I think Kyle Shanahan's offense gets stagnant and kind of boring when he has a lead. And I think it catches up to him. And then he's just been traditionally kind of conservative on fourth downs. And the funny thing is the greatest criticism of Kyle Shanahan, single play calling criticism, was him being too aggressive in that Falcons game when he was the offensive coordinator and decided to throw in that situation. So that turned bad on him. And I think that burned him. And I think it's in the back of his mind from here on out, I'm not doing no damn drop back passes when I have a lead and the game is within reach.
I want to ask you about the decision-making in overtime. How many coaches, and I know all of the formulas have changed on going for it on fourth down. Give me the number of coaches in the league that you believe in that 4th and 1 situation with his team down by 3 and in field goal range who are going for it on 4th and 1 instead of trying to kick the field goal to just tie the game in overtime because the game ends if you don't make it. And I say this as someone who always prefers the coach to show confidence in his offensive players to get a single yard.
You were ahead of the curve on this because I remember like almost a decade ago hearing you talk about like, would I rather be am I more confident in my ability to get 1 yard or put the defense out there and stop them and all the other things and hit the field goal and then put my defense out there. Like, I think getting 1 yard makes more sense. I wish I could give you an accurate answer, but the times are changing and they still are in flux. I think we are moving to a point where the vast majority of the league will go for it. I'm not sure if we're there yet. I think in that situation, there are a lot of things being weighed. But when you're the better team and you're at home and you expect to win, I think almost 100% of coaches in that situation would go for it. If you're the 49ers in that situation and you're on the road and you're dealing with a ton of injuries, or like the Cowboys is a good example when they were playing the Packers. I think the Cowboys were perfectly fine with a tie at that point. I think the underdog in those situations and the road team might be more prone to do it. But most of the time, it's like we can get a yard, especially when the offense is your strength. Running up the middle, that's a little bit predictable. But I still think most coaches would go for it in that situation.
Give me the names of players you believe to be better defensive players than Fred Warner.
Better. That's a tough one. Myles Garrett is probably more impactful, and the same way Fred Warner is versatile and can impact the pass and run. I think the reason why Fred Warner is so special is linebackers have gotten smaller, and Fred Warner is one of those guys. And so offenses have started to get bigger linemen and try more aggressive downhill rushing attack. in order to like attack the fact that we're getting smaller and the linebackers to be able to cover guys and run down the outside zone. But Fred Warner is someone who is a smaller linebacker, but still plays the run with a physicality and aggressiveness. So like when we hear people saying we're devaluing running backs, we're devaluing off the ball linebackers, not the right ones. The right ones are as worth it as anyone, especially, and I think this is the reason why Fred Warner exists and is in San Francisco, is because Kyle Shanahan and Kyle Shanahan's disciples are like intentionally week to week. I think the first thing they look at is what linebacker can we attack? Is he small so we can run at him? They do that every week. Is he too big so we're going to put him in isolation and take advantage of him? Yeah. So I think that Kyle Shanahan, when looking for linebackers, him along with John Lynch, they're looking for guys like this. And when they find one like Fred Warner, they'll pay him whatever he wants because they know how teams like them look at approaching defenses like theirs.
You were critical via text at some of our analysis recently when we were talking about the lack of explosive plays in the league, the number of plays that are just checkdowns or thrown balls at the line of scrimmage. And one of the things I was lamenting is just the fear of the turnover. The turnover has become such a valuable thing that people aren't taking risks downfield. Our analysis you thought was bad. What was bad about it?
I didn't think that your individual analysis was bad. I think that generally it's a kind of a thing that's annoyed me for the past few years in football analysis is people talk about how two high safeties have taken away the deep threat. And that's just not a true statement. Like that cover two was the second coverage ever invented. Like there are ways to attack the honey holes on the side, deep middle. Like you think of those seam passes that Dak Prescott throws all the time down the middle is like, those are designed to beat cover two. Cover four it's wide open to posts and deep digs. Like there are ways to attack all of these coverages. You can do a speedo concept, a dagger. Like there are tons of ways to attack the concept. So I think that if explosive plays are down, and I looked it up, there were 111, I think, last week explosive plays against two high versus 150 versus single high. So it just like kind of feels like wrong analysis that a lot of people have been propagating, and it felt like you guys were kind of doing the same thing, which is not your fault. But I think it's important to be clear that if explosive plays are going down, it's not because people are playing with too high safeties. It's for whatever reason. It might be the risk aversion to turnovers. It could be protection. It could be lack of playmakers. It could be quarterbacks' inaccuracy. But I think the explosive plays can't really be stopped by. And like single high, you can play cover two, sounds like a better coverage, but like single high, you can be playing cover three, which is three guys deep, which you would think means that it's even harder to get big plays. But we don't think of cover three the same way we think of cover two.
Man, where have I been? I've never heard honey holes before. Is that a spot on the field? What other delicious areas of the field are there?
There's a lot of holes. So like the rat,
Hell yeah.
when we call like a rat coverage, is because you want someone in the hole. The hole is considered like the middle of the field.
Go on.
Low, middle of the field. But the honey hole is like those sideline spots.
Yeah, the good stuff.
Where, like cover two corners are responsible for the flats, and the deep cover two safeties are deep halves. And as you can imagine, the further you get away from the corner, the closer you get to the safety. That's where the spot is. You want to be able to hold that corner down low with somebody running down there and hold that safety in the middle with someone in the seam and then squeeze it right into that sideline spot. It's a honey hole. You'll recognize
little sugar slot. Where's the sugar slot at?
I think that's for a late night show.
Can you tell me who in the league comes the closest to having what Stafford and Puka Nacua have?
Ooh, man. Stafford. It wasn't on display fully last night, but I'm sure that you guys have seen the highlights. I think I laughed a few years ago when he won the Super Bowl, and Dan Orlovsky was saying that he's a future Hall of Famer because he won that Super Bowl. All right, let's not get carried away. But if he could put another Super Bowl on his resume, the highlights that he puts out there, maybe it's East Coast bias. We don't talk about him or celebrate him as much, but he is incredible. Someone else who has that, like Burrow's injured, I will look at those guys.
I was saying Goff and St. Brown came the closest to me in terms of having just the timing, but it's not like what Nacua and Stafford have, and I'm confused by the fact that they've been able to turn Nacua into exactly what Cooper Kupp was.
Yeah, I'm shocked by the ability the the season that Puka Nacua is having so far. And I'm not shocked because I don't think that he's good, but it's been incredibly impressive. And I think it's the combination of a bunch of things. We talk about football and all the many variables that could go wrong or go right to make things work out. I think it's the combination of Puka's like unique body type and athleticism and the coach and the quarterback and having Devontae Adams on one side. Like all those things come together in them. They have probably the most effective rushing attack in football and a play action scheme genius. And you can get it to Puka anywhere. Like he's not quite Tyreek Hill, but in that way, it's like I can screen it to you, I can deep pass to you, I can deep in, I can deep out. You can run lead block on an ISO, which then sets up other play actions and matchups against linebackers and safeties that are certainly overmatched. So I think it's all those things combined. It's kind of made this perfect storm for Puka to be right now the best receiver in football.
Dominique, can you clarify or clear up, I guess, a debate we were having earlier this week on the show? Now, my football career was tragically cut short, so I don't have as much of the respect as someone like you did who played in the NFL. And Greg has been covering, the NFL for years and years, since before, mergers and all that. So, like, he's a historian of the game, but people also somewhat think that he's a kook. And I think you're the perfect person to kind of settle this debate as a former Maryland Terrapin here. Greg was saying that the helmets used to be made of turtle/tortoise shell. Dan is disputing that claim. As a former Terrapin, can you confirm or deny that there were turtle shell helmets at some point in time?
I've never heard that there were turtle shell helmets until I was listening to Greg Cody say that. But I mean, I wasn't watching football before the merger like Greg Cody, and I wasn't covering it. So maybe, I don't know. The internet also, I think, has no recollection of that. But
yeah, but there's AI now. You go to Google AI and it'll tell you anything you want to know, basically. It's honestly like the searching has basically become, how can we make you happy? It's very like people pleasing. It's like, what result do we think you want to hear? That's what we're going to give you.
Well, yeah, that's not what you want out of the source that we go to for all our facts. But I think you're going to like tempt Dan into playing We're All Gonna Die, and then we have to talk about the fall of all our great institutions, which is not fun. Let's just talk about punching players. Like,
actually,
was right about that,
well, we're going to ask you about that in a second. Put it on the poll, please. Do you know what a terrapin is? Yes or no? And just show Dominique the video that we have, exclusive video of Tyreek Hill on the way to the hospital, falling out of the ambulance here. Somebody was following
definitely not AI
the car or the ambulance, and you can see there that he
criminally underreported that story.
You would think this is be all over ESPN. I don't understand why this isn't a bigger story. Well, probably because he landed softly. Yes, that's probably why it's not a bigger.
That's unfortunate.
It is.
Thoughts and prayers.
It is unfortunate.
Yeah.
You need your medical team. You need to. I think they would trust him more than that, but I guess Tyreek Hill becomes less valuable when all of a sudden he can't run routes for you, so people will become careless that way. I want to play for you here. You've been following the Pablo Torre finds out coverage of the Clippers scandal. And Ramona Shelburne was on a radio show in Los Angeles, and this back and forth took place. Tell me what your thoughts are here. Ramona Shelburne, of course, the ESPN reporter, an exceptional journalist. She's the one who did the interview with Steve Ballmer. She's the one who asked some of the toughest questions at Clippers Media Day. Listen to this.
And I asked questions. Then I could have kept going, but somebody kind of reached out and grabbed the mic from me.
Somebody from Clipper PR?
Yeah, and was like, okay, you're done now. And then it went to a team reporter, a team TV reporter who asked about being healthy during the offseason. And then the next one was like the team radio person, and they asked another question that was more basketball related.
Right.
Then it got back to, I think, Law Murray from The Athletic, who asked an aspiration question, but it was something about how do you not make it a distraction or something, and he gave a whatever kind of answer to that,
so
and then he was done.
It was fluff at the end.
Then it was done. And I will say this: it's important to note because people are like, "Why are you the only ones asking? Why were you the only one asking those questions?" There were 5 or 6 other reporters in the room. Chris Mannix from Sports Illustrated, Beth Harris from the AP,
all that were going to go
Steve
down
Henson
the same
from LA
line of
Times,
questioning
Janice
that you
Carr,
did.
OC Register. We had all talked before the press conference, and I said, "Okay, so we're all going to ask aspiration questions, right? Because this is his first public statement,
right?
Like." Whoever gets this, like, let's tag team, like whatever.
Sure.
Listen to whatever everybody else asks, and let's make sure we we got to cover all the bases here because this is probably the one and only time he'll address it. And they all had their hands raised and they weren't being called on.
Chris Mannix said that was true. He tweeted that, and Pablo Torre says, quote, 5 to 6 other reporters wanted to ask follow-up questions in the one setting where he might ever have to talk about this, and seems like the real question is why they didn't get that chance.
Yeah, I mean, journalism, at least in this particular case, seems to be somewhat alive, and the camaraderie of the journalists seemed like they had a game plan in a way that the Clippers did not. What I was surprised by, and I'm sure it's pretty obvious to most people, is how poorly they answered the questions that were asked of them. If you're not going to answer any questions, then don't answer the questions. But if you are going to answer the questions, I think to relate it back to football in some ways is they're going to challenge you based on what you did poorly the week before. If you couldn't stop outside zone last week, you know what you're going to get on the first down? Outside zone. So I'm shocked that the Clippers showed up and did not have a stop for the outside zone. And then their move for it was like, we're just going to ignore these people. It kind of, to me, makes it worse. I don't know how they could handle this any more poorly than they have, but seems like they probably are going to find a way to continue doing it. But I mean, I'm glad that Ramona and the other reporters stepped up and got together and asked the questions. I also think that I'm on Nick Wright's side. Like, generally, I care about it because it's interesting, but I don't really care. Like, getting players extra money, knock yourself out.
Let's play the sound first of Kawhi Leonard's back and forth, and then we'll do Lawrence Frank as well and get both Dominique's general reaction to both sounds and to ask him who should have been better answering these questions between the two Clipper figures. Kawhi first, please.
What is your understanding of the endorsement deal that you had with the company that's been talked to Aspiration, and did you perform any services for them?
When you say understanding, what do you mean?
Like of the contract you signed and how much money you were to receive, what you were supposed to perform for those services?
I understand that full contract and the services that I had to do. Like I said, I don't deal with the conspiracies or the clickbait analysts or journalism that's going on. So that's what it is.
Well, I think the allegation was that you didn't perform any services for them. Is that accurate, or did you?
I don't think it's accurate, but it's old. This is all new to you guys. The company went bankrupt a while ago, so we already knew this was going to happen. So
you were named as like the largest creditor in the bankruptcy filing, right? Did you actually get the money that was owed to you in the contract, or?
No. But the company went belly up. It was frauded, as everybody knows. If you want any more questions or more details about that company, you need to ask the owner or whoever else is involved in the fraud that went on.
Right. I think they said they owed you $7 million or something, right?
I'm not sure. I gotta look back at the books, but no, it's more than that for sure.
Do you have any idea of how much you actually made on that?
No, it was like 2, 3, 4 years ago.
His game plan was to say this is old news or fake news, and this is Lawrence Frank. He's the president of the Clippers. He was just as bad.
Has Dennis Robertson, Kawhi's uncle, ever asked for any extra benefits that wouldn't be allowable under the NBA salary cap directly to you? There's been a lot coming out of his asks.
Yeah, look, Dennis knows the rules, Kawhi knows the rules, Mitch Franco knows the rules, and we know the rules.
Is that a yes or a no, though?
Yes, we all know the rules.
What are your thoughts there, Dominique?
Well, to your question, I think I would expect Lawrence Frank to be more prepared for that. And his answer was even worse than Kawhi's, which I felt like wasn't very good either. Like, Kawhi, I don't handle those things. I hire people to take care of that for me. If you want to talk about a pin down, ISO, how I get to my spot on the ISO, or on the elbow, then that's fine. How great I am at defense, my knee health. If you want to talk about those are things that I'm intimately involved in. These other things are not. You should talk to someone else, the general manager or someone about that. So would you like to talk about the prospects for this season for me and the team? And for Lawrence Frank, the idea that he thinks that the right answer is to say that I know the rules, and then not respond directly to the question, it just makes it worse. Like, his answer is, all this stuff is under investigation right now. I wish that I could give you more information. I'm learning of some of these things right along with you. Would you like to talk about this season coming forward? And answer every question about aspiration just like that. I don't get how that's so hard.
Yeah, it's not actually. I'm going to get to Cam Schlittler in a second. A very unfortunate name for that guy for a number of reasons, by the way. It's Schlittler. That's complicated because of the shit, because of the Hitler, and right in the middle of it, an L, which a pitcher never wants anywhere near his name. But yesterday, Schlittler ends up with double-digit strikeouts. He's never done that at any level of baseball. At single A or double A, triple A, it's never happened before. He's in his 85th day. He's a rookie. And Jeremy has top 5 unfortunate names anywhere in baseball or just all of sports?
Just in sports generally. Schlittler was so good yesterday, but it's almost impossible to be that good with that name. So OLI, Danny Woodhead.
The tabloids did the headline today, holy schlit.
Oh, that's really good. But Wood and Head together, not great. Dylan, number 5, Dylan Bundy. I don't know of a lot of Bundys other than Ted. That's the main one that comes to mind.
Al.
Number 4, Randy the Big Unit Johnson, which Ian Carmel has pointed out means horny the big penis. Number 3.
Good name.
Why are these bad names?
Clinton Dix. I mean, Clinton Dix is
no one wants any laughter around that.
Yeah, it's just, it's unfortunate. James, don't call me Jim Jones. And number 1, Cam Schlittler.
What are your thoughts on that list, Dominique?
I mean, there were a couple names in there that were bad, but I feel like the majority of those names were pretty awesome. Like, Clinton Dix. Great
awesome name. Also slightly unfortunate. I'm not saying they're bad names. I'm saying they're unfortunate names.
Well, I feel like you put them in community with Schlittler. Like Dan just laid out all the reasons why Schlittler is a problem, but I mean,
I'm not gonna lie, I have no idea why is James Johnson in there.
James Jones, Jim Jones.
Yeah, but you turned
the Kool-Aid.
Chris Berman at the end there. You're like, James, don't call me Jim Jones. I felt like I was watching
James
Sports
Jones
Center
is
like
Jim Jones. What do you want from me?
It turned into a Sports Center anchor.
Who I am at my core, guys.
Berman's
what I was meant to do, and instead I'm here.
Whoa! Major penalty, 5 minutes, swooning comedy.
James, don't call me Jim Jones.
You try. You just put in an effort.
Sometimes don't try.
And then you get accused of Botox.
I know that this shouldn't have surprised me, and it was news that we expected, right? Because we saw the news that ESPN wasn't going to be doing baseball anymore after this season. They were losing the baseball rights, right? But when it came out a couple days ago that the Home Run Derby is going to be on Netflix next season, I felt so weird seeing that, because Berman hasn't done the Home Run Derby in years, but that's just one of those things that's gonna feel weird.
That's the line for you on streaming. We've reached your line.
Yeah, Home Run Derby on Netflix is kind of like, I don't know about this, guys. No one else cares.
That's the type of thing. No, I mean, that's the type of thing that should be on Netflix. I agree with you that it feels weird, but that's the type of event that you should put on Netflix, that you can make it weirder and less connected to real sports and more fun. I think that the dunk contest, all those things, put them on Netflix, make them fun and crazy, because I don't know, I feel like those are not the things that I'm trying to watch normally, right?
I guess I'm just trying to figure out how is Netflix gonna force Harry from Too Hot to Handle onto the Home Run Derby coverage, and am I gonna be bothered?
But we're already here with football games. The football game being on Netflix didn't do it for you. This is what this is just
honestly. Can I tell you something? And Dominique, you may disagree with this. I don't really care what channel football games are on. I'll find the game and I'll watch it, and I don't know the difference a lot of the time. And especially Netflix, where they just go and get people from every other network anyways. It's hard for me to know once I'm like 2 quarters into the game, like to remember where I'm watching it and really care about it.
I had a hard time because of I changed cable systems. I had a hard time the other day finding the NFL Network for that Sunday morning 9:30 game. Like I did not enjoy the process of trying to locate it just because I changed cable systems, and not all the cable systems have NFL Network.
So what's your new? So I eventually I gave up and switched over. Well, I don't make commercials for anybody, but like there's some that are more efficient than others. Like I don't really have those problems anymore. There was a stretch there where I couldn't find anything and I was confused like an old man. And then I got some YouTube TV and I can figure it out. It's like the apps are pretty obvious.
Yeah, like my cable doesn't have numbers for channels. Like it's not like channel 400 and this. It's just this is the network that I want. I'll just find it alphabetically.
I'm going to keep this conversation going with Michelle Beadle in a second, but during the game yesterday, McMahon, the Yankee third baseman, flipped over the dugout catching a foul ball, flipped into the Red Sox dugout, just really hands on the floor, legs over his head, and only one Red Sox helped him. All of the other Red Sox scattered because you don't help the opponent. What is your thought there as a decent and kind human being, but also a competitor, on what you should be doing if you're the opponent there?
Well, he's going over the top to get an out, right?
Yes.
Man, better figure it out. Figure it out for yourself. In the playoffs? Yeah, I can't help you. Sorry.
I always think about this when in football, when guys are running uncontrollably towards the sideline, on their own sideline, someone will jump in to try to stop them. Is there unwritten rules with that? If it's an opposing player, do you let him just run into the bench? If it's your guy, you try to stop him. How does that go?
You're protecting yourself most of the time, honestly. If you grab them, it's better for you than it is for them. There are really no rules about that. You come into games normally, it's everybody wants to be healthy. If you do something in the course of that game or something before that game, and we know about it, then there's some different rules about how you treat a particular player. Not normally a whole team, but there are really no rules about that. We all want to be healthy and safe. The thing about football, though, is it's not like these other sports where you actually do get to hit each other. So we're not looking for opportunities to take out some anger or mistreat someone. You're just all right, cool. There's a whole nother play where I can come and punch you in the ribs.
Why are these sidelines so slippery? It seems like anytime they're trying to stop on the sideline, it's I feel like that's just a dangerous thing.
I think that might be an old thing. I don't think we have that anymore.
Okay.
They put these tarps down now.
Before the game, they have to hose them down so that it's slippery.
See you later, Dominique. The Dominique Foxworth Show with Charlie Kravitz. You can catch it with Charlie Kravitz. That is wherever it is you find your podcast. See you later, Dominique.
Bye.
Coming up on the Hockey Show today, we have Adnan Verkin. We're going to talk to him about some stuff. One of those things just happened to be Kirill Kaprizov's new contract. He is now the highest earner in National Hockey League history. We're going to talk about that with Adnan Verk coming up next on the Hockey Show.
All right, as I said last week, Dan sees these previews for Mystery Crate, so let's make it good. Even if it's something we didn't actually talk about, let's just make this episode seem awesome.
So we should just lie.
We talk about dragons. Jeremy once fought a dragon.
Yeah.
Imagine Dragons.
Yeah.
One of the Imagined Dragons.
Jeremy's part of a harem.
He's in a harem?
He's in a harem.
That's actually true.
Yeah, that's crazy. We did actually talk about that. Mm-hmm. Hi, Dan.
Fuentes thinks my dad's a liar about kicking 50-yard field goals.
I don't see any iteration where Greg Cody could have kicked a 50-yard field goal, but that was before you told me he played soccer. I didn't know he played soccer.
Do you just think that you and Tony can do anything that can be done, and if you guys can't do it, it can't be done?
Billy, I am so incredibly washed. All I did was kick a few field goals and run around, and my hips are on fire. I am literally on my deathbed. I'm checking out. I'm done here.
That's terrible.
Check out this
episode of Mystery Crate
on YouTube as well, because I swallow a knife.
Whoa, you did do that. Mm-hmm. More like a sword.
Billy also psychoanalyzes. Man.
Almost held that.
I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm going to bed.
Sorry, Dan.
Boo.
Insane. Okay, so Spoiler. Do not listen if you don't want to know what happened in the last episode of The Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power. So Galadriel and Halbrand, who everyone thinks might be Sauron, they go from Numenor back to Middle-earth, and they're in the Southlands. And the guy who's like the head elf of the Southlands, who's trying to help protect all the people who are getting invaded by the ORC army, they're trying to figure out how to get the orcs to go away, the ORC army, and to get free of them. And right now, a lot of people are calling it Before-dor. We think they're in Mordor before it becomes Mordor, before Mount Doom erupts. Interesting, because there's been a mountain that they've shown a couple times in different scenes throughout the series, right? So we're like, okay, how are the people going to defeat the orcs? Because the orcs, the ORC army, they're badasses, and they have this guy who's a leader, and his name's Adar, which means father. And we're like, maybe he's Sauron. But he's trying to get this thing that looks like a sword, but it's actually like kind of a key, and it looks like it's in the shape of Mordor. So he's trying to get that, and this little kid Theo has it, and his mom Bronwyn is in charge of all these people. So they trap the orcs inside the Elven Tower, and then the orcs come to the town, the ones that survive, and it looks like the people beat the orcs, but then the orcs come back. There's more orcs, but then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Galadriel and Halbrand and the Numenorians charge in on their horses, and they save all the people, and it's like, holy shit. And so Galadriel finally finds Adar, and she's like, I don't know who you are. I don't know what your deal is. Are you Sauron? What's going on here? And he's like, I don't know. I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to be mysterious. And then Halbrand comes in, and Halbrand tries to kill him. And everyone's like, well, why would Halbrand kill him if he's Sauron? And this is a servant of Sauron. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. We're not sure yet. I kind of think he is. And then fast forward, the little sword thing that they had, it was wrapped up in like a burlap sack. And the little kid is about to throw it like into the Sundering Sea or whatever to get rid of it forever. He opens it. The sword's gone. It's a decoy. This old creepy guy stole it, took it back to the Elven Tower, which used to be where there was dark magic happening, shoved it in the ground, turned it. It created a chain reaction. All this water starts pouring in underground where the orcs have been tunneling, the ORC army. And Mount Doom erupts, and it covers the sky in ash.
He just won with Jeremy Tashi.
Because Jeremy was an alleged journalist last night. Yeah, my thoughts exactly. Jeremy, who is an up-and-comer in the broadcasting game and is someone who has now journalistic credentials around, literal credentials around the Heat and the Marlins. Yesterday he was hosting. And this is one of the great things, Stugotz, this time of year. We get it so infrequently around here in South Florida. But South Florida has always done this well. The rest of the country always makes fun of, you guys don't care about that sports that much. You're bandwagon people. All right. Many of us are, not everyone. Before we get to Michelle Beadle here, always happy to see Michelle when she graces us with her presence. Can you give us the Hampton Farms winner here this week on the Hampton Farms Nuttiest Fan of the Week, please, Chris?
Yes, Dan. Congrats to the Virginia fans. They are this week's Nuttiest Fan, presented by Hampton Farms, the official snack nut of the tailgate. Keep an eye out for Lucy at Notre Dame this week if you think you are your team's Nuttiest Fan. And this was one of the craziest things I've ever seen. Usually when you storm a field, you have to jump down to something. This was just people taking off onto the field. Somebody had to get hurt in there.
It did look like World War Z. It did look like the fastest of the zombie apocalypse. I can't believe how fast they got out there. They are very lucky there was not a penalty flag on the play because it would have been hard to retrieve everyone. Michelle, it is nice to see you. I've got a number of different questions, but
me too.
Are you someone who laments and polices the storming of the field, or are you someone who is pro joy for everyone, even if it comes with calamitous injury?
Well, that one was scary only because there was a player still down. So it was like, this is going to be a problem. I was watching it with a friend of mine who's not a sports fan, and she was just like, is this normal? I'm like, it's not that it's normal. That one looked particularly crazy. But no, look, when I was at UT, we went up to College Station to watch the Longhorns play the Aggies, and we beat them, and we stormed the field, and they have those soldier people, and they were rough with us, and we left and went back to Austin. So, like, it's a thing. It's a rite of passage. As long as no one gets severely hurt, I think we're good.
I can actually I can argue that was safer than most because a lot of times it's like a long drop and you see these people who aren't prepared and they hurt their ankles on a long fall
Fair.
sometimes. So I actually think while this looked dangerous, this was probably safer than a lot of field stormings.
That's a great point. Physics,
Thank
baby.
you,
By the way,
everyone.
Dan, what's the vibe here? I love this for you. I really think this is.
It's just in honor of you being San Antonio at your core.
Wow.
I decided to dress up for you so that you would feel welcome here. And
Wow. I never that's like uncanny what's going on right now.
I'm having trouble with the mutton chops. They keep falling off because they've got eyelash glue on them and they get stuck to the headsets and stuff.
Oh,
But I'm going for the
glorious.
gemstones here. Jesse Gemstone.
Obviously.
Are you a gemstones person?
I'm a huge fan. Love Judy. Was just out in South Carolina, which I guess is where McBride has homes or a home, and never saw him. But that would have been a good celebrity spotting for me. One that I actually would have enjoyed.
She is the host of the NBA show Run It Back with Chandler Parsons and Lou Williams. Whenever I see the name Lou Williams, for some reason, do you know what I'm going to say here? I just think of his.
Two girlfriends?
He seemed to have two girlfriends at the same time publicly and was okay with it, and everybody was okay with it. Have you covered this material with him and Chandler on your show?
I'm not on the show. Like our pre-show meetings, honestly, should be half of the show. They are, you guys know how it is. Like not really the show being discussed at all. It's more about like, if Chandler went to prison, would he be the guy who gets it or the guy who gives it?
Well, okay, good. So
we have good 7 a.m. talk. But
Which
Lou,
one was it?
He thinks he'd be the one giving, but there's no chance. There's no chance. He's too pretty, and he's
pretty. He's pretty for prison.
Yeah, he's going to be popular. But Lou, we've asked Lou, because I'm obsessed with it. I mean, he did something before the word throuple was just being thrown around. Lou was crushing that lifestyle and is so nonchalant. Like Lou's the coolest person I've ever been around without trying. And so he just was like, yeah, everybody knew what was up. There's no lying. There are no secrets. Honestly, it's an honorable way to live. I would suggest he was probably more honest in his relationship than most people are in theirs. So kudos to Lou Will.
And what are the well, I don't want to ask too many questions here, but what are the unexpected things that might come up there that people aren't assuming would come up there that would be problematic when you have an open relationship like that?
Well, I mean, look, I would think from a person who's not had an open relationship, or at least not one that I knew we were having, is that it's, somebody gets jealous or the rules aren't followed or what. Shut up, guys. Or the rules aren't followed. But the way he was doing this, the way he talks about it, everybody was in on, like, everybody was good. They were getting what they needed, both emotionally, physically. Like, they're all just chill. It made it sound almost like, I'm just not wired that way, but sounded interesting.
What are you expecting from your Spurs and Wembanyama? They were quiet last year once he got hurt, and so the growth was a bit stunted on what that team would be. And now Pop is gone. You're expecting what from your Spurs? Because nobody's talking about them.
Well, because it's playoffs or bust, as far as I'm concerned, and it's happening. Not play in, playoffs. I don't care what seed. They'll be the last seed. That's fine. But I think that there's Wemby's back, from all accounts, stronger, healthy. We all were watching him, everything he was doing over the summer, silence with the monks and just sort of taking over the world. And so, yeah, I'm a homer. What am I going to sit here and say, another year of learning? No, man, we're not wasting any more time. It's like Wemby time. I don't want to waste any more years. He's had a nice intro to the league. Everybody knows what to expect from him as long as he stays healthy. Knock on wood 1,000 times. Yeah. We're doing this. Yeah, I'm weeing it, by the way. Full Spurs gear behind me. We are going to the
Take
playoffs.
us on a tour here on what is behind you. What is some of the stuff here? Take us through some of the stuff here that's most meaningful to you.
we got a Yoda.
What's that candle? Is that a candle of your own face? Is that a prayer?
No, that's Pop. That's Pop.
No, the other one. I didn't think that was your
that's
face.
Tina Fey. Yeah, I know. It could be my face. Look, time's coming. Tina Fey, we've got a glove from when Apple Baseball kicked off and they spelled my name wrong and sent it to me. I'm just honored that was even on some sort of a list. My various I'm not a good weather person. I'm going the wrong way. My various
You've been on television for a long time, Michelle. I figure you'd be better at this.
I haven't mastered a green screen. I haven't really had to do one. Spurs shoes and my Ricky Ricardo Yeah, he's no longer an F1 driver, but he's still in our hearts. I got my marathon, my half marathons, my Timmy Duncan figurine. Yeah, no, it's and then above it, 1,000 pairs of shoes. So
it's a good setup. The Yoda, what's happening with the Yoda there?
He's just it's like a god to me. He's got interchangeable parts. You can give him a lightsaber if you want. Otherwise, he's got his nice cane. I keep the cane up, just keep us all humble, How
about the books? Pick one of the books there that you like that has some sort of meaning to you of any kind. I'll filibuster for you here so you get some time
I like the Big Bad Book of Bill Murray, just because I think all things Bill Murray. And then honestly, hold on. There's two of them, right? Because they were written by friends, and you guys know how it is when friends write books. You're like, all right. So my buddy Bill Schoening covered the Spurs. He did radio for the Spurs for I'm not even kidding, 30-something years. He just retired. And Josh Wolf is my guy, and I will read anything that he puts out. I go see him whenever he's in town. He was a single dad for a while, and that's not usually the way that goes. So he's got cool stories to tell.
Let's put up on the screen here Zion. Zion, no embarrassment here. Zion with the skinny arms here. Zion has lost a ton of weight. Zion is as unique a basketball player as there has ever been. And I do wonder, even though I never fat shamed him, I do wonder how much strength gets lost with him being this kind of skinny. I don't know enough about the human body and what it takes to be him. What are your thoughts when you see Zion Williamson looking like this?
Well, as a person who treats her body as a temple as well, I can tell you that when you lose weight, you don't necessarily lose the strength, because he's got all the advantages us mere mortals could only dream about. A chef on hand, I'm sure, whenever he needs it. If not provided by him, the team for sure. They are surrounded by trainers and nutritionists and the best of the best in the world of physical being. So I don't think I think if anything, he'll be faster. I hope that this will keep him from being more injury prone. I think he looks great. I think he looks the way we always wanted him to look. And that's horrible to say, because who am I to say what we want? But you guys know what I mean. As fans of the sport and as fans of Zion, I think this is sort of the dream, is to streamline it and get strong. And, the pictures are, by the way, some of these pictures coming out of these media days are wild. It's just ridiculous.
But this is startling. Good. Like, this is it. Is
it?
Well, I just think I would have a hard time recognizing him if he was not wearing the uniform.
What are you talking? This is not Jonah Hill, fat skinny. This is just Zion.
No, but he used to be square, and now now he looks like somebody who's a perimeter player.
I know. Are you not excited?
I am excited. I'm excited for healthy Zion, but I am legitimately curious whether or not any of his strength gets impacted by that, because he's got to be 60 or 70 pounds lighter.
Yeah, which, by the way, but think about what you're saying. He's 60 or 70 pounds lighter, which means he can jump faster. He's going to be faster. Carrying around that extra, we've all been there. Like, carrying around extra weight,
me more than
not
most.
Fun. Well, then it's not fun. Everything's more of an effort, and you have to just try so much harder to do what people are doing easily. I think this is going to be, again, knock on wood, because he's one of those guys that I think we cheer for, but we never get to see it to fulfill everything. And I think this version of him, I've got high hopes. It looks great. I was surprised, but in a great way.
She's the host of the NBA show Run It Back with Chandler Parsons and Lou Williams. They have exceptional chemistry together. Let's play for Michelle some of what Nafisa Collier had to say. I have not seen or heard a player of this caliber go after leadership with this kind of intensity. Caitlin Clark has notarized everything. She's co-signed all the points that Nafisa Collier made. Let's play that sound for Michelle, please.
I want to be clear, this conversation is not about winning or losing. It's about something much bigger. The real threat to our league isn't money. It isn't ratings or even missed calls or even physical play. It's the lack of accountability from the league office. Since I've been in the league, you've heard the constant concerns about officiating, and it has now reached levels of inconsistency that plague our sport and undermine the integrity in which it operates. Whether the league cares about the health of the players is one thing, but to also not care about the product we put on the floor is truly self-sabotage. The league has a buzzword that they've rolled out as talking points for the CBA as to why they can't pay the players what we're worth. That word is sustainability. But what's truly unsustainable is keeping a good product on the floor while allowing officials to lose control of games. Fans see it every night. Coaches, both winning and losing, point it out every night in pregame and postgame media. Yet leadership just issues fines and looks the other way. They ignore the issues that everyone inside the game is begging to be fixed. That is negligence. At Unrivaled this past February, I sat across from Kathy and asked how she planned to address the officiating issues in our league. Her response was, well, only the losers complain about the refs. I also asked how she planned to fix the fact that players like Caitlin, Angel, and Paige, who are clearly driving massive revenue for the league, are making so little for their first 4 years. Her response was, Caitlin should be grateful she makes $16 million off the court, because without the platform that the WNBA gives her, she wouldn't make anything. And in that same conversation, she told me, players should be on their knees thanking their lucky stars for the media rights deal that I got them. That's a mentality driving our league from the top. The league believes it succeeds despite its players, not because of them.
Michelle is putting her hand over her smile the way McAfee does when Aaron Rodgers is talking. Like, what are you smiling about there?
I mean, first of all, yeah, this is not going to end well for Kathy, but it is shocking, right? This is not a woman. Nafisa Collier is all class. She is very highly involved, not just in the WNBA. She's got her own league that she started with Brianna Stewart. Like, so she's not someone who just sort of sits off to the side and watches. She's involved. She's engaged. She's in it. And you're right, for somebody of her caliber to come out and say a prepared statement with receipts was a tough hear if you're anybody that's not named Kathy. But I'll say this. Good for her. I mean, look, we've all had you and I have had one of the same bosses who thought that they were the whole story and everything they did was why a company was succeeding and not because of all the people that were working hard to make it all happen. And sometimes when a suit will actually say that out loud, which again, we weren't in the room with Nafisa Collier and Kathy, but I have to believe her, right? Maybe there's a context to it that we're not getting and we'll never know. That being said, she's going to end up leaving this. I don't know how you come back from this. I don't even know how you reach out unless you do some sort of tete-a-tete that's publicly watched from everyone. But you got undressed by one of the biggest names in the league who is respected by everybody. And all of the things she said are sort of the things people have been whispering. You know, the money aspect of it all, I know everybody's got their different opinions on it. I'm not in their books, but I have to believe there has to be a way to pay a little bit more than what they actually are paying. When you can triple that waiting tables, that's a tough sell. And also the thing about, Caitlin Clark making $16 million off the court bothered me too, because how dare you? She came into the league. She was in college as a big deal. So it just felt like she was sort of trying to take some value away from what has been accomplished by these women. And that is not a good look, especially as a woman in charge. It was like a double-edged sword for me, and I didn't like any of it, but I loved Collier doing it. It's what we all want to do all the time. Well played.
Michelle, can I ask you some life advice that I'm curious on?
God.
Because
I'm killing it. Go ahead.
Well, no. This is more like I'm interested in your perspective on this because I had an incident about a week ago, and I feel like you might have some insight on how I should handle this situation. How long should I have phone numbers for, and how often should I purge phone numbers? Not including death, because I feel like death, I wouldn't purge numbers just because I wouldn't want to lose the contact. Now, here's the specifics of this scenario where I thought I should probably start purging and getting rid of some numbers. So about a week ago, I tested positive for COVID. So I did what I thought was the responsible thing, and I reached out to coworkers because I had been at the office. I didn't think that I had that, obviously. And then I said, you know what? Let me go to a minute clinic. I'll get, checked out. I probably have like some sort of like cold, flu, whatever. And they're like, oh, you tested positive. So I'm like, I should probably text my coworkers and tell them, hey, just a heads up, if you're not feeling well, you should go get tested just in case and take the proper, precautions here. So I texted, instead of texting, we have a lot of people here. So instead of texting like 15, 20 people on one chain, I did like little groups based on, the departments or where I was hanging out with them or whatever, right? And I didn't want to tell everyone because I don't want to be out there freaking everyone out. There's people that would be unimpacted by this. So I went and I texted this group in this room and I said, oh, guys, just in case, just so you know, I tested positive. I don't want you to be, worried, but I also don't want to be the irresponsible one that's just not telling you about this. And I had one coworker reach out and say, are you okay? And everyone else just ignored me, which I was like, I guess I should have even
Land the plane, Billy.
That's something.
Land the plane.
So then I texted other different groups, and one of the other groups that I texted, I had the person one of the two people reach out to me, and they said, hey, who's that number that you texted. And I was like, oh, that's, this person. They're like, oh, that's not the number that I have for that person. And then I went back and I looked and I go, oh, that's not that person. That is someone that I worked with almost 20 years ago at the mall that has the same first name. And I just have first names in there and not last names. So I texted someone that I haven't spoken to in nearly 20 years. And I said, I hate to, tell you this, but I have COVID and I feel so bad about this situation. But if you're not feeling well, you should probably go and get yourself tested. And again, I haven't spoken to this person in nearly 20 years. And this person,
did they respond?
They did not respond, which part of me was like, wow, you've become so inconsiderate. And then I was like, let me look
they
up
could
to
be
see-
dead. They
Well,
could be dead, which means then you can't erase the number now.
Not dead.
Oh,
but
dang. Okay.
this is
great.
This is a person of the opposite sex. So then I looked the person up, and this person, me and my wife work together at the mall. So she knows this person. So then in my head, I'm like, I wonder if this person now is going to reach out to my wife and be like, hey, your husband's been texting me, and he's telling me he has COVID. And then it'll be a situation.
What is the advice that you need from Michelle?
Well, I'm trying to paint the picture accurately so she understands the conundrum that we're in here. Yeah. And then I checked her Instagram. I'm like, she's like in Asia right now. I don't think she's going to get this. Hopefully she's changed her number. In that case, I've now texted a total stranger telling them that I have COVID, and they have numbers of my coworkers too. So what is the, I guess, line on when I should probably just remove contacts to protect myself from myself?
You know what? I don't. Now that you're saying, I don't think I've ever deleted a number because I don't. So you have those friends that constantly are changing their numbers. So I always put I put their name with like the new date, so I know whatever the last number was.
But do you delete their old one? Because I don't. I'll just have like this person new, and then I'm like, I will literally never need their old phone number. But then they got a new one after new, so I'll either put like new or new 2025, and then was like Chris new after Chris new 2025. Like I don't know.
No, I put the actual date. Like Sean Elliott is known for changing numbers a lot. So I constantly am like, I don't know. Like right now, I'm not even 100% sure which of these is the current one. If maybe there's even a new one. I have no idea. I would never delete anything because why? But at the same time, you should mess with everybody in this. Send her a picture of your wee-wee and let's get this thing started.
Okay,
now that you've opened up
not ask this advice.
Yes,
That is a terrible idea.
If you're going to get in trouble with your wife,
nothing.
make it worth the time.
Yes.
Don't delete anything.
Horrific advice. Thank you for nothing, Michelle.
Why would you ask me for advice?
Hey, you have a birthday coming up. Are you a birthday month person? Or
no, but it is
an
a
adult?
big birthday. It's 50.
Oh,
so
yikes.
Yeah. So I kind of feel like if I'm going to do, and I got enough friends with money. Yikes! I'm excited.
Why did you do yikes?
50,
I was going to guess 40.
It's almost over. Yeah.
I'm definitely on the backside.
Sad.
But all my friends with money, if you're listening, put your monies together and get me something nice. This is a big birthday. I don't want cards. I don't want a cake. I don't want a donut. I know what y'all are working with. Let's do it. Let's make it happen.
This is one where you text all the Sean Elliott numbers just to make sure he gets the message.
So he knows.
Where does that rank? 50's a big one. Where would we
50's
put
top
that?
5.
It's got to be top
Definitely.
3. No, it's got to be
top 3.
Top 50 for sure.
I would think that I would think the order would be some combination of 150 and 18 are the three
16.
big ones. No?
Wait, is it 18 or 21?
16 and 21.
21
16
probably,
you drive, 21 you can drink.
Oh, that's a
10's a
great
big
point.
one. 10
10
you
is
always
not a
did
bit.
feel
Stop
10
it.
is a big one. Double
Stop
digits.
it.
You guys are
13.
10. I have arrived. I am double digits now.
No.
Get this
that is
9
not.
out of here. I'm 10.
Where is 50, Michelle? Where? And if you had to rank it
Now it
and be
feels-
accurate with the ranking, where is it in the top 5?
Honestly, I feel like it's 1. And maybe it's because I'm sitting here looking at it, but also because, when you are 21, 50 seems like 100. And I do feel like, you don't know what you're going to feel like when you're 50. You don't know what you're going to look like when you're 50. Like there's a lot going on and I feel great. So I'm just sort of like, all right, we're going to enjoy this one. Plan a good vacation for next summer and then, keep it moving. What'd you do, Dan?
We had a big party down here. We had a Moss Miami party down here that was a part of the celebration where I invited just about everybody from my life down here for there were
Where were you, Michelle?
Thousands of people there.
Not invited, but that's just classic Dan and me. Like this is the kind of friendship that I can't.
To him. I don't care.
Good luck. I played the wrong one.
Wishing yourself a happy birthday, huh? Damn, Dan.
Yeah. Michelle, thank you for being on with us. Always good seeing you. A reminder, she's the host of the NBA show, Run It Back with Chandler Parsons and Lou Williams. Always nice talking to you. Thank you for stopping in.
You too, guys. I always love it.
Do it more often. I was watching during some of the baseball yesterday, and I saw that a commercial. Josh Johnson, not the former Blue Jay and Marlin, but the quarterback, Josh Johnson, has a commercial because he's played for 14 teams, and so he was just going through the jerseys, but none of them were authentic NFL jerseys because you have to pay for that. And whenever I watch the commercials, and the commercials have an athlete who's not allowed to wear the gear because that costs extra to put the gear from the NFL in your commercial, it cheapens the product for me. I can't take the product seriously, but I thought that was good work by Josh Johnson's agent to get him work when he has played for 14 NFL teams.
I thought you were talking about there's some company that does the bit of like, I need a backup, and it's just like random backup quarterback comes in to help you lift this picture in your. I know Case Keenum has been on there where he just shows up. You need a backup, I'm there for you. But John, that's a good agent right there.
Baseball loves stories like the one that I'm about to tell, which is I was mentioning earlier with Dominique that the Yankee third baseman, McMahon, wears number 19, the way that Aaron Boone wore number 19 when he played third base for the Yankees. And the Yankees haven't done much beating of the Red Sox in the postseason since Aaron Boone hit that home run off of Tim Wakefield, the late Tim Wakefield.
I saw that both starting pitchers were like 2 and 3. So like basically they have no recollection of any of like the classic Yankee Red Sox stuff.
The Red Sox were super hurt, right? So they're starting a pitcher in a deciding game, Connolly Early, who shouldn't be in that situation pitching that game. But the Yankees were countering with Schlittler, who also hasn't started very many games. Do you realize how much adrenaline you have to be on to be Schlittler and throw double-digit strikeouts against the Red Sox when you've never done it at any level? But I wanted to ask you guys if you saw when McMahon goes over the dugout railing and puts his hands on the dugout floor, you saw the Red Sox total indifference in that dugout about the situation that McMahon found himself in, which is a dangerous one. But there was one Red Sox who actually helped McMahon as he flipped over, and I'm wondering if the other Red Sox are like now mad at him because he did that. I think, was it Weissert? There was only one Red Sox who helped, and a lot of people are pointing out Derek Jeter famously went into the crowd one time to catch a foul ball.
Face first, I remember that. That one was brutal.
And let's be real, this is better. Because the face first was...
he could have stopped.
Let's be honest.
I remember being cynical at that, thinking he could have stopped or pulled up.
He dove into the stands there.
I mean, his momentum was flying that way.
To stop himself,
the other option is what? Fly into the wall?
But this was actually a catch over the railing. That's the difference in what I'm saying here. Like, that was the momentum carries you over. This, in this circumstance, to make that catch falling over the railing, it was spectacular.
You're just shaking your head yes? And
the Jeter move is so iconic. Like, I don't know if I'm going to be seeing that years from now, that play. That like,
wild card round.
I get it why it felt big last night, but it was no Jeter. I mean, Jeter had a couple. Like, the most impressive Jeter play is the one in front of the catcher, right? The flip to the catch? Yes. That one was broken.
I don't like a best-of-3 wild card round. I think, I've been kind of like, I've been dealing with I'm trying to work out my emotions here. I wish Michelle was here to ask her because she loved the last story. I've been trying to work out my emotions here on how I feel about the wild card round because, like, Game 163 was awesome. Division round used to be the situation where, like, you can't celebrate the division round all that much, right? And now there's an extra round before you even get to the division round where, like, plays like this, a wild card round play when it's an extra added round to the playoffs, I feel like can't be where classic playoff moments live. And then to take it a step further, celebrations after you win the wild card round to get to the divisional round that's where I'm trying to figure out, like, I want you to be happy about it. If my team was in it, I'd be happy about it. But we can't be celebrating it like we just won the pennant. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you also celebrate once you clinch a postseason berth.
Yeah,
so
but
this is advancing in
there's
the
too
postseason.
there's too many celebrations, though. Like, you could celebrate if you get in. And then I guess you could celebrate to get to the World Series. And then obviously you celebrate to win the World Series. But, like, the divisional round was always like, okay, we're excited to get to now play in the championship round. And now there's a wild card round to get to the divisional round, to then get to the league championship, to then get to the World Series. I feel like we need to start saving some of our celebrations, right?
I love that you bring this up. I want to play a video here of Stanton after the game last night, Billy, and you be the judge here. Was he celebrating too much?
You'll find a way to get it done.
The only doubt was if that was a homer or not whenever I hit it. So thank goodness for that bonehead play that the team was resilient enough and Cam was resilient enough to go out and it didn't mess up the chemistry or the moment. So that's good. And kids at home, don't do that. Future opponents, please do that.
I love this.
Bonehead play. So I'm just glad it worked in our favor and it won't happen again.
Champagne celebration, and you're giving a lesson to the kids at home.
That smirk at the end. He sounds like The Rock.
He did stand there, watch his home run, looked into his dugout, and should have been thrown out at second base because he thought it was a home run and it bounced off the wall. Usually he knows when he gets them. It was weird to watch him not know.
I saw that was like the fastest in his career he's ever run from first to second. Like, they can actually track all this stuff now, and he was just so panicked that he ran fast.
Which is saying something, because that guy can no longer move. Yeah. It's crazy to watch this person who was like the peak of athleticism.
No, he was never a good runner. Get out of here.
No,
we're not going to pretend he was ever
No.
fleet of foot.
I'm not saying he was fast, but he was an athlete, and now he cannot move. It's similar to watching Pujols at the end, where it was like, oh, he could run a little at the beginning of his career, and by the end, he was in cement. But to have Giancarlo Stanton this way, seemingly miss a ball like that, he normally knows that ball's going 500 feet. It was so bizarre to see it end that way.
Is it reckless to say he seemed very drunk in that video where he was talking?
Not reckless.
Nah. And then I think...
Do you smell what Giancarlo's cooking?
The follow-up question to that is, how did he get so drunk so quickly after the game? Like, he's a big dude. Like, how much could he have had that he was like that quick?
I like to think he's probably not drinking a ton during season.
So like half a beer and he's there.
Hasn't eaten much.
Can you guys tell me, because I did not see how the Dodgers celebrated. The Dodgers have made this round 13 consecutive
They can't
years.
celebrate them. I will say, they can't celebrate that round at all. If you're the Dodgers, you cannot be celebrating the wild card round. In fact, you shouldn't be playing in the wild card round. That's a story for another day. Sorry, Dan.
I didn't see how they celebrated. I did see there was a difference, though. The Tigers really celebrated getting past Cleveland, at least in part because of how much relief they had, because it was the most historic collapse in the history of baseball that Detroit allowed Cleveland, a Cleveland team that's not that good, to catch up to them. So I assume there was a good deal of relief in being able to finally get past Cleveland, because Cleveland spent the last 3 weeks of the season kicking Detroit's ass and putting on them a special kind of misery. But the Yankees did not celebrate the way Detroit did on the field. It was a more muted celebration, even though for 20 years they haven't actually been able to get past the Red Sox in the postseason, which represents a total change from all of baseball history when it comes to the Yankees and Red Sox.
The Dodgers was similar in that it wasn't a huge celebration on the field, but afterward, a ton of champagne. The photos and the videos coming out of that of Shohei Ohtani and everybody else, they were celebrating, and that was beating the Reds.
And in their defense, they do have a couple days off now. We can argue about, like, I think we talked the other day about, like, the disadvantages for the teams that had to skip this round because they're going to be rust versus rest kind of thing. And I heard that they all had scrimmages because everyone's worried about having too much time off. So all the teams that were off had scrimmages, intramural scrimmages. So good stuff.
You've got in the buys, among the buys, I believe the only team that has. Are you guys laughing because Chris petered out there?
So again,
you guys are just laughing at him because he didn't close that with the dismount that you guys
wanted?
I
brought a helpful nugget there with the intramural games and the rest
with the
versus
buys.
rust.
The teams with the buys don't have a great deal of national interest, even though I'm interested in them. You've got Brewers, Blue Jays, and Mariners. The only national interest you're going to find is in the Phillies, with the bye, but I think that you need the Dodgers and the Yankees to advance there to capture the imagination.
But we had that last year. Like, I mean, I guess maybe for like the, common not really paying attention to baseball fan, you would want the Dodgers and the Yankees. But we had that last year, and it didn't do like world-breaking numbers regardless.
The Phillies are the team, I think, that in terms of entertainment value and giving people something different. Like, obviously, the Yankees are always going to be that powerhouse that attracts viewership, but I think if you ended up with Phillies, Yankees, or really any combination, to know you have Schwarber, who put on that show in the All-Star game, Bryce Harper, like the name recognition is there with that team, and they would have beaten the Dodgers to advance, which would give you that storyline.
It's super strange to see because Phillies-Dodgers is great, but it's super strange to see them both behind the Brewers, to see both the Phillies and the Dodgers have to bend a knee to the Brewers. And I want to talk for a second because we skipped past this when it happened because it was the late game, because the Reds were not a match for the Dodgers, didn't make it interesting. The Dodgers could have and should have lost last year to the Padres in one of these short series because of how random baseball is. But what Shohei Ohtani did in the first at-bat of that series, where Hunter Green is throwing 101 miles an hour, and Ohtani's turning on it and sending it out of the park at 118 miles an hour, and it was his second most impressive home run of that game. He's doing stuff in the postseason that Judge has not yet done. I thought that the Yankees had a real good chance, even though the Red Sox are injured, of succumbing to baseball because for the last few postseasons, they hit a lot of home runs during the regular season, and then they get to the postseason, and the home runs go quiet. And they go quiet even if they're playing in Yankee Stadium where they have that favorable porch. Aaron Judge is getting 2 hits a game, but they're not home runs.
Singles right up the middle.
And last night he was 0 for 3. Like in the deciding game, ultimately. They made history last night as the first wild card team to lose game 1 and come back and ultimately win that 3-game series. But Judge didn't have a ton to do with that.
But I don't think anyone expected Aaron Judge to be what people have expected Shohei Ohtani to be.
How do you mean?
I don't think anyone thought that Aaron Judge was going to be the greatest baseball player of all time, which is the standard that Shohei Ohtani has.
Yeah, but
like to say he's never done what Shohei has done, I don't think anyone ever thought, outside of New York, where they just assume everyone is going to be the greatest thing ever. I don't think that was the expectation for Aaron Judge.
But once they get to the postseason, Aaron Judge is now carrying around that he has not carried that team in the postseason. Like even Stugotz was down here last year saying, Shohei, show me something in the playoffs. And he's doing it. Like he's doing the same things in the playoffs that he did during the regular season. Aaron Judge has not. Aaron Judge, what are Aaron Judge's power numbers in the postseason? Go ahead and look it up for me because he's carrying around the burden of, hey, Aaron, when are you going to show us power in a postseason? Because you're an absurd baseball player, and you just had one of the most absurd offensive seasons I've ever seen, either steroid division or non-steroid division. The fact that Aaron Judge hit for power and hit for average this year when no one's hitting for average.
Aaron Judge's career OPS in the regular season is 1,028. In the postseason, it is 768. It is a giant drop-off in terms of his slugging percentage, and it has weighed on them for years. Giancarlo Stanton is the reason that they made that run to the World Series last year. We learned this on the pitch clock this week. He's 4th in Yankees franchise history in RBIs. Giancarlo Stanton
because of last
in
year.
Yankees franchise history. It's nuts.
It's a
the
bit of a
postseason
cheap
player
code
that he's been
because of the extended playoffs now, but yes.
Of course it is.
No. He, in all-time in playoff history in RBIs?
All-time Yankees postseason history.
Okay, postseason.
They play more playoff games. That's part of the reason. But how many home runs has Judge hit in the postseason?
He has hit 16 home runs. That's in 61 games. So those home runs are there, but not at the rate that you see in the regular season. And it's just a .212 career batting average in the postseason. So, look, I mean, this year he's off to a better start, and the hope for him would be that moving forward it would be better. But, I mean, look, in 2024, he hit 184 and had a slugging percentage of .408 in the postseason. He was not dominant by any means. They made it there in spite of him in some ways.
Billy, how do you
Ghosts.
feel about the fact that Jazz Chisholm and Miguel Rojas and Luis Arias, that all of these former Marlins are all over your postseason? Do you have any feelings about that?
No. I'm not I don't feel bad that they're there. I'm happy for Jazz that he's there.
I'm rooting for Jazz.
Miguel Rojas honestly seemed like a pain in the ass at the end. If we're gonna be honest, he was blocking everybody on Twitter. He was picking fights with people. Like, good for him, I guess. But
I say, how is he still in the
I'm
league?
not crying over spilled milk on that one.
How is he making that roster still? That roster is so good. How is he still making?
He had a good season, to be honest with you. Like, he's a very serviceable. I was shocked. I thought he's a starter on the Marlins and probably nowhere else.
Wait, he starts for them?
Yeah, he plays a ton of games for the Dodgers. I was wrong on that. Like, he's a serviceable piece on the Dodgers.
That's crazy.
Also crazy, Roy got a glove from Apple the same way that Michelle Beadle did.
No, you did. Your name's on the glove.
Oh, it's mine. You were showing it to me. I thought you got one.